Yo. Okay, so obviously we're gonna be doing the live stream. We are gonna be doing an open mic, but for those who don't know or those who are in the know, Adam Does Movies is doing a live stream right now addressing the heat he got on his review. So for everyone who doesn't know, Adam Does Movies is the guy who did the big review on um Godzilla -1, the bad one that kind of tanked everything. So if I get this, like he said, to friend him and send him a link. So for anyone, like if he gets this, oh my gosh, um, if he comes in later, that'd be like, oh my gosh, I did super chat and everything. Um, yeah, yeah, this is gonna be so crazy if he actually gets on. I'll do another super chat to let him know that I'm about to do a Twitter post. Because I'm right now I am listening to the stuff. So like either he's gonna appear later on, or he's gonna appear like right as his stream ends, or he's gonna dual stream. I don't know. We'll know. Um, like oh, this is gonna be so funny if this is the case. Um, oh my gosh, it'd be so funny. Adam Does Movies. And else. Link to. Oh, okay. Okay, and right now I'm just gonna do a super chat for him. I don't mind spending money to get him on because I think it'd be actually kind of cool to see what he has to say. MD. Oh, this would be so funny if this actually happens. So Acno's here. How's it going? Toku Punk, yeah, it was good. Alice, hi. Drake Spector, hi. Godzilla Knots. And Brandine, and yo, how's it going, Lizard King? Like, yo, again, for people who are coming in, I just sent him a huge I just sent like Adam Does Movies a link to the stream. He said he might want to come on, so like I'm excited. Like I'm super excited. Yeah, I like again favorite movie so far. Hello. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. If he does come on. If he says like I'm waiting for another super chat right now from him. So if he sees the super chat says he'll come on later, then he'll come on later. But what I'll probably do is that if he says that, then I'm gonna start bringing on people, give their thoughts, cycle them out, and yeah. So that's kind of like what I think I will be doing. In terms of like how the stream is going to be going. But for like everyone here, I just want to hear everyone's thoughts. Like, how would you describe -1? I know a lot of us are liking it. I'm super curious right now. Oh, he's oh wait, yeah, it's super funny because people in the chat right now are like, "What the hell is DM'd? He's kind of live here. He isn't going to debate. He isn't going to debate you. It's over. He's doing it here and now. Like that's not a debate. Like it's super funny that people don't realize you could simulcast stuff. But yeah, he like guy literally just said, "Oh yeah, I could maybe do something like that." I really enjoyed it. Not gonna lie though, that moment before the crash rolled really didn't surprise me. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised either. That was DM'd. If he doesn't do it, it's fine. I think he's about to respond. I think he's about to see the streams. It's amazing, very different movie in regards to the human drama. Let's see. Ooh, but yeah, no. Like I wish the start of the stream was a little bit more like something. I just want to I want to hear if he actually will join the stream either here or now. Abra versus Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla. Whew. But for those who do not know either, this is actually I just saw the movie 3 times in a row. Well, not 3 times in a row, 3 times. Once the 29th and twice today. For context, Tokupunk, Adam Does Movies was the guy whose review brought down -1's 100% critic review on Rotten Tomatoes. So if he comes on, I would love to hear like him give his thoughts more because I would love to. The reason why I want to see if he'll bring him on is because I want to hear what he has to say in more depth instead of just a small review, which is only a few minutes. Who? I mean, you need to give him power. Oh, last night I cried at the end. You know, there was so many people tonight who were crying. How's it going, Valerie? Matt from Monstrosity Styles went, hey, Matt's entitled his opinion. I want to talk with him about that. I'm super curious. Like, why he thought it was mid. Oh. Adri, I don't know who ADRE is. Ooh. But yeah, right now he's just going through the super chats right now. Still, he hasn't gotten to mine yet. He said it felt very generic, safe, and just a copy of Shin Godzilla. A lot of people are saying similar to Shin Godzilla. I think honestly, it does everything Shin did, but just better. Honestly. But yeah, no. Whew. I'm doing that. Let me go back. Let me go to Adam, like, for people who are like curious as to what I'm like, why I'm waiting right now. Oh, wait, so wait. Oh. Oh, cool. Okay. No, he's gonna do it. It looks like he's gonna. Oh, okay. Okay. Sweet. Okay. I'm gonna show exactly what he just said, and we'll see kind of what goes from there. Because he just adjusts the stream, so that's something we'll get forward to. So he's not coming on tonight. If he comes on later, sure. But I'm gonna start actually bringing on people on the stream then, since now I know he's not coming on now. So we can do that. Paste. So if you guys want to come on, give your thoughts, you are welcome to right now. And now I need to go and let me see. So let me stream. presents. I'm gonna share my screen as well so y'all know exactly what he said. So entire screen share. Oh wait, nope. I need to not share that because I just realized I didn't do the audio with it either. So also share audio. Okay, cool. There you go. Streamception myself. So this is what he just said.
Stuff like games. Johanna. Zimzilla 99 for $9.99. Just started the stream. DM'd you like, oh, what, dude, I can't do it now. I'm not going to debate you now while I'm doing my own stream. I thought you meant like in another day. I'm so sorry if I misunderstood that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to jump into a freaking debate right now, buddy. But if you want to have me on, I will, I'll tell people where to go and they can watch.
Okay, cool. So y'all heard it here. That is on the stream. So for people who are curious, I will hold him to that. I will hold him to that. And we actually do got someone on the stream as well right now. It is Dr. Godzilla. Hello. Dr. G, you are live, sir. I'm not sure if you're
Dinosaur here, imaginary friends.
Hey, look at that. Nice. How's it going, Eric?
Yeah. Real name's Eric, but
gotcha.
I went by my username for my imaginary dinosaur friend right here.
Okay, gotcha.
He's a T-Rex.
Nice. So, quick thoughts on Godzilla -1.
Good, very good.
Awesome. Do you think it's like one of your like top favorite Godzilla movies, or like liked it, or
it rivals Godzilla versus Kong to me?
Really?
I like them both.
Like as your favorite of all time Godzilla movies?
Yes.
Really?
Right up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. Are
both
you gonna be
my favorites?
Are you gonna be going to see it again?
Most likely. My brother Luke didn't see it, so I might go with him.
All right, awesome. Perfect excuse to go see it again, man. Happy for you on. And what I'm gonna be doing for most people is I'm gonna be cycling them in and out of the stream. But if you do any YouTube stuff, do you want to show any of that? Post, like, say where we can find you?
Post any clips?
Well, if you post anything on like a YouTube channel or Twitter where people can find you, if you want to like advertise yourself.
Yeah, I think I can I think I can give it a shot. Post some pictures.
Awesome. So I'm gonna take you off the stream and I'm gonna invite someone else on. But thank you for giving your thoughts, Dr. Godzilla. You have a good one, man.
You have a great one too.
Thank you. Have a good night. And got JS Pena. How you doing, man?
It's Pena, but hello.
How's it going, my man?
I'm good. Give me a sec. I need to turn down the fan.
Not a problem. In the meantime, yeah, how's it going? For Yukasai, since stream C said streamception. Yeah, no, I saw you there. I wasn't sure if you actually noticed my my message in his chat outside of the super chats. So streamception, my dude. That man is running for me. I don't think he's running for me. He's doing his own stream. But Pena, thoughts on -1? Obviously, you've got using it as an image, so I'm assuming you really enjoyed it.
I mean, I used this image before I watched the movie, but I did enjoy it. Yes.
Gotcha.
I'll probably need to watch it. I'll need to watch it again to see if I like really enjoyed it. But for what it's worth, I did enjoy it. Although, I will say that moment where the credits rolled, honestly, I shouldn't have been surprised. I was like, of course.
Since you're saying of course, do you think it was a bad thing that happened, or do you think you're just sort of like at this point like indifferent, like you expected it and you don't really have an opinion one way or the other?
I mean, we can talk spoilers, right, or not yet?
Oh yeah, no. This is a spoiler stream, so yeah, everyone, if you came on expecting no spoilers, you will be getting spoiled.
I mean, I don't think it hurt the movie for me, although there was a time while I was watching it yesterday, I did have a hard time watching it, although it wasn't because of the movie itself. It was because excuse my language, but the fucking Beyonce concert was playing in the next theater.
Oh, really? Gotcha.
So was
Damn.
Taylor Swift.
I'm
There was
I'm actually surprised. I wonder now that you mentioned that if any of like the Beyonce or the Taylor Swift movies were playing beside Godzilla minus one, if there was a lot of audio back and forth between both of those. Because if you could hear it, I bet you that the Swift movies were could hear like a lot of that of the Godzilla movie.
well, I didn't hear like the singing. I just heard like boom, ta, boom, ta, boom, ta, boom, ta,
Oh, okay, like the
that.
bass and stuff.
Like for example, there was a part in the movie where like I think his name was Dr. Noda said that Godzilla should be here in 10 days. And then like I think there was a scene where it cuts to a few days later and I kept hearing what sounded like footsteps from Godzilla. I said, "Wait, are those his footsteps? I think he's here earlier than they realized. They should get worried." And then I
Mm-hmm.
realized there's a damn Beyonce movie. I said, "Oh, okay, that makes more sense."
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like that's just unfortunate what happens when you're like in theaters and dealing with other like things that have like a like massive like base to them. So, like to be expected. But in your opinion, like how are you feeling about the film? Do you think like favorite film, like one of your favorites, or just sort of like it's good, but like you don't really like feel super strong about it?
I'd say the last one, although I'll have to watch it again to fully make up my mind. I did enjoy it though,
Mhm.
and not gonna lie, it was pretty interesting to see. Well, they called it Godzilla, but I guess we all know it was a Godzillasaurus in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, like yeah, it's essentially Godzilla source, which I can use these as like background images too, since I do have a PowerPoint setup. So yeah, for I think what everyone has been trying to hide at least is the fact that we get to see a pre-mutated form of Godzilla for like the first time since Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, which is like it's super cool.
Yeah,
Seeing this, and obviously this has been the Bandai figure that leaked early for obviously the American side because the movie hadn't been out yet, and everyone was trying to avoid seeing this. But even just
yeah,
like obviously these aren't the actual designs; these are the Bandai's, but you can really tell just how like how much Godzilla was mutated by the atomic bomb in comparison to these two designs.
yeah,
But like I think what I find interesting is the fact that the Godzilla source design is able to do essentially what I feel Godzilla 98 tries to do, but just doesn't succeed. And I think for people who like a more reptilian Godzilla, they in this movie there is one for you, and I'm happy that that's the case.
mm, interesting.
But like I'm curious, what's your favorite Godzilla movie?
Ah, crap. I don't have a favorite definitive one, although I believe my favorite Showa film is Invasion of Astro Monster
Mm-hmm.
or Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
Is there like a definitive name for it, or do we just
It's
or do we
whatever
just
people kind of like using the most. Typically, you say Godzilla versus Monster Zero, Invasion of Astro Monster. It's a toss up. But most people know what you're talking about in that case.
yeah. So yeah, I don't have a favorite Heisei film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or I'm still thinking about my Millennium films or MonsterVerse, the usual, but yeah, so far the film I can think of at the top of my head is Godzilla vs. Monster Zero.
Okay, interesting. I know a lot of people like it. I haven't really heard anyone who says it's their favorite, but the only reason I ask is generally to see like what your favorite Godzilla movie is versus what the movie minus one is, and just to see if certain people who will like a certain film just don't gravitate as much towards minus one. Um, but yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting take right there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy that you were able to come on, my man.
Thank you.
Any thing you want to shill at all, or YouTube, art, etc.?
I do have a YouTube channel. Give me a
Mhm.
sec. It is JS Pena. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, send in the private chat, then I can let people see it on the regular chat so people can subscribe.
All right. Crap. Give me a sec.
Mhm.
Oh wait. What the hell is this? Give me a minute.
No problem.
All right.
There we are. Awesome. And let me translate that to right there. So, yep. If anyone's interested in subscribing to him, see what he's got in terms of contents, links right there in the chat. Thank you for coming on, man.
All right. And I gotta say though, I'm glad this film is doing well because forgive me if I, I'll just say it. Screw Disney.
Yeah, no. Everything's pretty there's no filter here, honestly, outside of like if they get me banned. So hey,
All right.
if that's what you want to say, you're welcome to, my man.
All right. Because when I was younger, I thought people that said that Disney was evil were like nuts. But as I've gotten older, I've started to realize, holy shit, these guys were actually right. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. It is worth watching, and I can't wait for the new Empire.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm definitely not as excited for the new Empire, but hey, it's another
I figured.
Godzilla movie, and I'm excited to go see it.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on, my man, and you have a great night.
You too.
Thank you. What I will be doing actually, as I wait for more people to come on, I will just be kind of switching between this right here, and I only have like a few Godzilla images, but let's just talk specifically about the ocean scenes. So in most cases, there hasn't been a whole lot of like Godzilla fights at sea. Almost all of them are either close, like very like close to an island. The one that I can think of in that case is Ebra Horror of the Deep, where Godzilla's like only a few steps away from dry land fighting Ebra and gets dragged underwater for a little bit, which actually does have some fun like imagery to it. And then every kind of other fight in a body of water or near a body of water, most of it is in the Heisei era. You have the fight with the Super X as well as a few warships in Godzilla versus Biollante, or in that case, the Super X2. Then you have in Godzilla versus Mothra, you have the fight with the Mothra larva and Batra larva. In Destroya, you technically have like a small fight that takes place in the water near a power plant in Destroya. 2000 technically is in a body of water, but it's not like an ocean battle. GMK has some parts of its fight with King Ghidorah in water. And then you have Godzilla sinking a US submarine in Tokyo SOS. And then the first fight with Mechagodzilla is close to a body of water. But we don't really get to see Godzilla, in a lot of cases, fighting humans out in the middle of the ocean. And I understand that a lot of people want to compare this scene to Jaws. Mainly, I think what I like about it is the fact that more people are saying that the character dynamics are more reminiscent of Jaws than the fight with Godzilla itself. Which I think is good because it shows how well constructed the characters are, that they have a similar vibe to that of Jaws. And that group of three in Jaws really does make up the film and makes that third act just so special. So I think that's really awesome. And there's small details that you see in the ocean fight that are indicative of all the characters. The first thing I think of is with the captain, where although they find out that the only reason why they had been sent out to wait for the Takao was specifically to draw out Godzilla, and they were essentially disposable by the government. The captain's sort of like, yep, well, we're gonna do it. And Noda's like, well, I thought you hated government orders. And he's like, well, yeah, but someone's got to do it. And I think that just speaks to him as not only an ex-soldier, but also as someone who, despite not agreeing with the government, the hand he's been dealt with right now is what it is, and he's able to make the most of it. With Kid, the thing I like about him is how he's so gung-ho about wanting to go to war, but the moment he finds out that he's going to have to fight Godzilla in their little boat, he immediately is like, well, what are we going to do about this? Like, this thing took down a U.S. warship. How are we going to fight this? And it's so indicative of his character because he really wants to, like, fight, have, like, this romanticized adventure, and he thinks that that's what war is. But, like, when he's faced with the reality that, yeah, no, this is dangerous, and there's a good chance you're probably going to die, you can see just how scared he actually is. And with Noda, being a technical officer, he's far less either like gung-ho about orders or following like directions, and he's not like completely scared either. He's very much the level-headed member of the group where he understands what has to be done, and he's the one who's essentially relaying this information. And it's what's interesting too is the fact that he kind of wanted to get out of there before the captain did, and it's really until the second ship gets taken down by Godzilla that the captain's like, well, nope, never mind. We actually probably need to start going. And then as for Shikishima, what I like about him is the fact that although he's far more quiet in this scene and he knows he has to fight Godzilla, this cool detail you get to see is when he gets onto the 13 millimeter cannon, after the captain tells him to get up there and man it, instead of kind of scrambling up there like the kid would have done, you see him grab the railing, slip right under it, and get right in the firing position. And that just speaks to good directing where you can see a soldier being characterized by those actions. And it's like they don't make comments of it. It really shows just what kind of man Shikishima is and what he was trained to do. And we saw that earlier on as well, where it concerned his ability to just use the 13 millimeter cannon to begin with, where Captain was able to fire it and wasn't able to. But with Shikishima, in only a few shots, he's able to get off a landmine that they had drudged up. So, like, the character work for at least the first ocean battle is really good. And then finally, when we get to see the Takao fight against Godzilla, like, even when the Heisei era, we never got to see Godzilla like get on top of a ship, but also Godzilla is bigger in those cases. But it's usually just been a like one beam shot, destruction, ship's gone, blah blah blah. And then in Tokyo SOS, you get to see Godzilla grab the submarine, start to crush it, and as it spirals down, it's very much not really like too much of a fight. And even Godzilla gets intercepted by a few warships in that movie, and he ends up descending, getting a hit, and just leaving. You don't really get to see like this ship on kind of monster combat. And what's cool is when Godzilla gets onto the side of the ship and starts like pushing his head and like his fist through the ship, you get to see that ship give that last sort of hoorah by giving a couple more cannon shots into Godzilla, sending them like off the side, which ultimately results in their deaths with the atomic breath. But it just the framing of that's amazing. You get to see all the details where you can tell that the ship was being decommissioned with all the wrappings on those cannons as well. And the just Yamazaki really provides this beautiful kind of framing, but as well as essentially what is an alt history because of the changes that we see where Japan in real life wasn't given back these ships for any reason because there was no reason to. But I think it also speaks to just a proper knowledge of history, in my opinion. But what I'm going to do is I just brought down the link again for anyone who has not joined the stream and wants to give a few quick thoughts about the movie, or if you're one of the regulars, like essentially the podcast crew, and I can keep you on a little bit more, and you want to give your thoughts, you're welcome to it. Or if you want to ask me questions or like more of my thoughts on the movie, you guys are welcome to it. But let me stop that right there and move over to. Nope, not that. Share screen. So at least at the moment, it says that -1 has opened with 2 million in domestic. So like that's really awesome. If anything, we can read what's going on here. In the recent years that Godzilla's been conquering Hollywood, Toho has been working on a bold new version of the staple monster. It was originally reported that Godzilla's home studio was interested in building a cinematic universe from 2016 Shin Godzilla after the release of Godzilla vs. Kong, which was then thought to be the last chapter in Warner Brothers and Legendary's Monsters franchise. Of course, the success of that crossover has led to a spin-off series on Apple TV, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, or as I have been calling it, Legacy of Slop. And another sequel due next year, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, which again, tentatively interested in. But this didn't stop Toho from moving ahead with their first original live-action Godzilla feature in 7 years, Godzilla -1. Though it's unfortunate that we can get a follow-up to Shin Godzilla, especially after its bone-chilling cliffhanger ending, Godzilla -1 is just as much a masterpiece in its own right. And let's say he's going into some information about Lupin the Third, sort of just things about the film itself. And it looks like overall just a summary of the film. And I think it's a fun detail that apparently, although this Godzilla's the same weight as every other Showa Godzilla, that he's not just 50 meters, he is 50.1 meters tall. I just want to see if it like says anything specifically about like more about the box office. Jaw dropping ultimately. Yeah, it's funny that they sort of tipped it off with like the opening, but it doesn't look like much of that information is actually there. But like overall, like I'm super happy with how the film's going. What I can do actually is obviously nothing's gonna be perfect. Godzilla -1 box, or at least box office at the moment. So Box Office Mojo isn't showing anything, but at the moment it's just saying the international is at the moment that right there. Like that's really good. I'm like really, really happy with how things are going. But overall, if the production budget on itself was 15 million, then at least it's made its money back with 23 million. But I think with the positive reviews overall, it could definitely keep going. I think that goes without saying. And we got the third of Lupin on. How's it going? What's up?
Bro, I joined when you were talking about like the first, unironically, bro.
No, literally, yeah.
It
I
was
think
unironically.
people coming on later on, so you probably will be able to ironically come back on for things. I know I posted a thing to Eric's Discord, so if Eric comes on, I'll bring you back on too.
All right.
But thoughts?
Oh yeah. I saw the Godzilla movie on like opening day. It was really good.
Like, would you say favorite Godzilla movie, one of your favorites, or just sort of middle of the road for yourself?
Oh, definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, in that case, I'm curious. If it's one of your favorites, says it top 1954.
Yes, top 50, 1954. All right, it's been a while because it's been like 2 years since I watched 1954. But by remembering, but I think -1's a little bit better. Besides the ending, I think the ending of 54 was a little bit better. Mostly because Godzilla died.
Wow. The first person, at least on the stream, to be like better than 1954. Time for like everyone to tell you how much of a fake fan you are and how you don't deserve being a fandom for disrespecting 54.
But it's been like 2 years. It's been 2 years, bro. It's been 2 years, man. I'm speaking
No, I mean, like,
from what I remember.
that's fair if that's like what you remember. I mean, like having watched 54, like maybe like either 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like I can't even like. Do I think it's better than 54? Like I'm still like I'm on the fence. Like I'm not sure if it's recency bias for me to be like it's better than 54. But yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of getting there on the it's better than 1954, even after seeing it 3 times.
I think,
But
but I think the ending is worse than 64 because like it kind of sucks for like the characters. Like think the ending was so happy for the characters, but it just cuts to Godzilla's like regeneration shit. It's like damn.
I think like that is completely totally fair. That someone could be like, wait, there was this big happy ending, the whole thing about the war being over, and then Godzilla literally comes back and is regenerating. I think that's
Yeah, like
totally
it's kind of pointless of like the what is it? Oh, I forgot his name. The pilot dude, the kamikaze
Shikishima.
pilot dude. Like it's kind of pointless for his like whole character arc. His whole character arc's like, I need to kill Godzilla because I didn't kill him like in like the Ono Island.
I think like that's fair. I didn't see it as that way. I think it was mostly like even if he didn't actually kill Godzilla, he still stopped Godzilla for the time being. And we don't know how long it's gonna take for Godzilla to totally regenerate from this. Could be years, could be decades. But I think at least making up for the lives lost then was the best thing that he could do in the situation. Whether Godzilla stayed dead, I think was irrelevant. At least from how I saw it. And I think like ultimately probably the only reason was just to set up sequel bait.
Probably.
Which I'm fine with. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. After -1, I don't want to see a direct -1 sequel. I literally want a solo monster movie that's as good as -1, and then maybe do a follow up with Godzilla in it.
I think Rodan would be a good next movie. Rodan.
Yeah. Rodan would be a really good
They follow
follow-up.
the similar. They do like a similar what is it plot? Like there's two Rodans. Like in my opinion, but what I can remember, I think -1 does take a lot of like beats of 54, which is really good in my opinion.
It takes
and
a lot
like
of
these
similar beats. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I watched it with my dad, right? Bro, my dad was saying like, man, that plane looks wacky when the kamikaze pilot dude was like riding the new jet. He was like, man, that jet looks wacky.
It's funny because like since it's one of those types of planes that essentially flying backwards, it's almost like like the film was saying that he's doing an inverse of what he did before by using that plane. Like if we really want to be corny and take everything that's there as like symbolism, like you could do that right there. Like when you don't realize that there's actually a propeller behind it, it literally looks like a kind of sci-fi aircraft, even though it was an actual prototype plane.
Oh yeah, I noticed that it was like an actual prototype plane. I was like, I know that plane because was it like I remember like one of our my work assignments for like worrying about like planes because like the air show that happened around California. I was in California, Huntington Beach, and like
Cali boy.
I was doing research, right, and I found those planes. So that was pretty cool for me to like oh yeah, I did research on that plane. And it got
right there. Let me copy that there. Just putting in Shinden -1 is like so much easier than putting like Shinden plan from what I've found. But yeah, like it's such an interesting aircraft. And I think like if you were gonna use post-war World War II era vehicles to fight against Godzilla, this was like the closest you could have come to where it concerns like a sci-fi vehicle. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But so like in the fact that like only 2 prototypes were the like only examples of the Shinden ever completed, and like this is the closest that -1 gets to like cutting edge technology used to kill Godzilla. But even then, it's like a mixture of both science and nature itself that does them in. So, like, it still retains the
Yeah.
whole idea of Godzilla being impervious to conventional weaponry overall, which I
Mhm.
like.
Oh, it's cool to see like the Godzilla source in the beginning. It was like, man,
Yeah, no. Like essentially the film is like one part Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, the rest 54 and a little bit of GMK.
oh yeah, I
Like
kind of do
actually,
see the GMK resemblance.
like now I'm curious, because like obviously at the end of GMK they have the whole like Satsuma
Yeah.
and Godzilla blows himself up with his atomic breath. Do you think like the fact that Godzilla's heart appears at the end of that movie that it sort of ruins the sacrifice in that film, similar to -1, or no?
Well, he didn't die, didn't?
Yeah,
He
like
didn't,
in both of them, he didn't really die.
yeah, but like, what is it? Well, because like it's not like as big of a character arc as like Homeboy was in -1. Because
Yeah,
like
no, that's fair.
in my opinion, like honestly, I think -1 has like the most memorable character besides 54. Like most, like besides like Don Fry,
Mhm.
like most of the main cast besides like the newer cast in like Monsterverse are kind of forgettable, bro.
Mhm.
But like there's I'm like know like a select few, right?
Mhm.
The
Like
homegirl that you go
Noriko.
first.
Well, no, I was gonna
There
say
you go.
like as much as I do obviously love all the Godzilla movies, outside of like if I say like, oh, that guy with the thing, I can't remember like all the main characters of these movies by their names. Like outside of 54, I remember Skyoka and Kobayashi from Raids Again. I don't remember the names of anyone except Mr. Taco from King Kong versus Godzilla. I know all the characters from Mothra versus Godzilla, but not their names. Same thing with the princess from Ghidorah, or Tetsuo from, or Namikawa from Astro Monster. Reiko from Son of Godzilla. Like I can name all the names, like, but like probably Chujo and Akane from like Against Mechagodzilla and Obuzaki from Final Wars are like the big ones I can always remember off the top of my head. But like I can remember every single character, like the named characters from -1. Again, probably recency bias, but like they really do stick out, which is awesome.
Yeah, it could be like because of like the was it maybe because like the year like of that movie taking place, the characters are a little bit more, I guess, fresher. Because like each Godzilla movie takes place in like the year they came out in, right? There's not like a lot of like like you know what I mean?
Like technically like period piece. Like there's not a lot of period piece Godzilla films, or like Godzilla films taking place at like essentially a different year from when they came out. I think the Monsterverse technically does that, but like
I heard like the Heisei film takes place like it takes like a year, like instead of like 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 84, that film takes place in 85, like something like that. I heard like all the Heisei
yeah, I
films
think
take
like
place
all
like
those.
a
I
year.
think the Heisei films take place a year before, or not before, a year.
No, a year after when they release or something like that. And besides like Destroy of All Monsters, which like takes place like
90. Yeah, that's like the only like Destroy Monsters takes place in 99 instead of like it's the year it takes place in. And even then, like the problem with always like having a film take place in the future is always the film will always become retrofuturism because it's always a past looking at the future and what the future will look like. And unless you're exceptionally prophetic, you're not going to get it right.
Yeah. Wait,
Um,
I heard like Final Wars like takes place like 20XX or something like that. So I don't know what that means.
yeah, I mean, like at that point we're in the 2000s. It's not like that far, or like that like distance. That's like you could be like, oh, it's super future. I wish you ever could return in a movie. I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm not sure how much of this is actually real. I do know that that apparently -1 is going to be what's like beginning the world of Godzilla. That's what I heard one person say. If it's true,
I was gonna like
cool, but like, do I believe it? I mean,
50-50 in my opinion.
It's 50. Actually, no, I'm going to say it's like 70-30. 70 in the case of it not being true, 30 in case of it being true. Because, like, we got Shin Godzilla. That didn't pan out to get a sequel. The anime films got a sequel, but I think that's because they, like, signed on for, like, a trilogy if they weren't doing a TV series. -1 hasn't gotten to season 2. I don't know if we're actually going to get, like, a follow-up in the same continuity. But, like, if it does, I guess cool, because that finally means the Reiwa era has a follow-up to it, like the Heisei series.
There is like what is it? There is like stuff that does make it seem like they're gonna do the World of Godzilla, because in some like what is it promotion they call it the first ever rewrite era Godzilla -1.
Mm-hmm.
So like it could be like them like saying, "Oh yeah, restarting," and the teaser when they're going down the list of Godzilla movies, and then they go -1, -2, -3. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, honestly, like, if we do get a sequel, for -1, I don't want it to be named like Godzilla 1, Godzilla 2. I would love for them to have like specific names, because even though like people made, like, even I made fun of -1 for having like that fanfic tier title, I would rather have like Godzilla something something instead of Godzilla 1, Godzilla 2. But like, again, I would much rather prefer a Mothra, a Rodan, a Varan type film with the same care as -1.
I heard like they're gonna make like a King Ghidorah film, like the stuff when they announced like the World of Godzilla. They wanted to make a
Like,
King Ghidorah solo film.
Could King Ghidorah work as a
crazy.
solo film? It would be crazy. It could happen. Do I see it happen?
I'm more sick of it. to be like a
No.
short film.
I
The only
mean,
way that they could do it is like in a short film, honestly.
they could do
Like, it's
a
like
full
focusing
like
on, like-
film. Because like you could do something that's like some kind of Lovecraftian horror-esque scenario where like either you're dealing with like astronauts, or King Ghidorah is like closer in a way to like his anime depiction, instead of like the traditional just giant monster. Like, you could do it. It could very much work. But it's just it's a matter of like who is in the director's chair. And outside of like, obviously everyone who wants to do these films is a fan outside of you, Roland Emmerich. I would love to see someone who's like really passionate about certain monsters get the reins for a solo film in the same continuity as -1, but with like Yamazaki either as like an executive director or assistant director, because he did so much on the film. Like, he wrote it, directed it, VFX, like I think like the VFX coordinator. He also wrote the novel for it. This really is the vision of like one man, and I think that a continuation of this universe could really only be done with like him serving as like the guiding hand for things coming after like -1. And I know to some degree, if there was a bad entry in the series, there like I would probably feel like, oh, -1 is kind of ruined by a bad entry further down the line. But I do think that like if he is there, he can like help out, like make a really good era of Godzilla, if I in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that.
But,
A bad like entry could probably like put that thing like in like deep water, but it could be but they could recover from that if they could.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because like the Monsterverse had a bad day, had a bad movie day, and
the
they
Monsterverse has
recovered.
had bad movie days. And then like for example, the weird unnecessary continuity / canon breaks with Legacy of Slop. It was not needed. There was no reason to break the canon like you did in that series. And
there's like multiple like broken canons with the Monsterverse.
It's like
they changed
and it's like
here's the thing. Godzilla was like 2 million years in like Awakening, right? But then in like what is it? What's it called? What's that one? Like the prequel to Godzilla King versus Kong. What is it called?
Dominion?
Godzilla. The Dominion. They changed his age to like a 1,000 years old instead of 2 million years old,
Mm-hmm.
or
Like
200 million years old. My bad.
it's like in those cases, like if you're gonna keep changing things, either give me a good reason in universe as to why those changes occur, or like write a story to avoid like bringing stuff like that up. Like if like a side story is not canon or it really like may or may not impact them like greater story as a whole, what reason is anyone gonna buy it outside of the fact that you expect me to buy it because I'm a fan? Like like I've been saying throughout the film and like throughout the series, film series, geez, it's late. Throughout the video, I'm like tentatively excited for New Empire. I am not really like hyped at all for Legacy of Slop, and I'm like, I'm still watching because like I'm a fan, and I think that's like a bad habit, honestly. And I think like if you're gonna write stories in a like multimedia project, then make stories that connect, please. Dear God.
I have a problem with like continuity issues like that. Like the small details get me mad, bro. Oh, hold on. Let's bring in like a Lupin comparison real quick because like I feel like it.
No, you're good.
So, like,
don't worry.
You know the show called Lupin the Third, Woman Called Fujiko, right? The show.
I'm not super familiar with Lupin the Third. I've been meaning to because it's like an older Japanese series, and I do like a lot of older animation. But explain it to like the audience.
All right, so it's like after like a bunch of like OVAs and specials and movies, right? In 2013, they brought back Lupin the Third in a spin-off film of one of the cast, Woman Called Fujiko, right? But they don't focus on Lupin; they focus on the characters, right? Like the other characters, you know. And one of them is Goemon, right? He's a samurai dude, and you know, he has like his Zimcast in the series, right? And this the show takes place before part one, but I don't recommend watching that show before watching part one because like you have to like know the characters to like watch some Lupin shows. But like after that show went off air, right? They made 3 spin-off films, right? And the second one was Going on Blood Spray. And they told us the origin of his Zimcast, right? But it doesn't make sense in the timeline, right? Because that chronology comes after Woman Called Fujiko. And Goemon already had his Zimcast. So it kind of doesn't make sense. And you kind of you see him like, you know, learn like his sword technique, like what he does in Woman Called Fujiko and the other series, and like the other series and movies and OVAs. So like that like really bothers me, right? Because they're obviously connected, right? Because of Jigen Gravestone, the movie that comes before that movie, and then Woman Called Fujiko. Fujiko Mine Live, where they show the past villains are still around from those 2 films. So like that bothers me, right? Because it ruins the Lupin timeline even more, because there's not even a timeline in the first place. So like that just ruins everything. And like yeah,
it's the same thing as like why would anyone care about like a lot of DC stories? Because if like something happens, they could write it off as, oh, it took place in this universe, not the main universe. And speaking of main anything, it's the main man himself. I said Thelth. I'm turning into Mike Tyson here. Is Eric Zilla.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh
Eric, you've seen -1, right?
Have not seen it yet, but I don't care for spoilers.
Oh, you don't care for spoilers? Okay.
I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna out of it.
There you go, my man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Before you give any more thoughts or anything, Sukapunk says, just pop it in for a bit. I saw his review. I don't want to be that guy, but Joey would be a kick out of doing a response to that role. So for Eric is
context.
You may not know. So there's one guy, Adam Does Films, who did the what's it called? He did a negative review of -1. It tanked it, dropped it out of 100%. down to 90 something. And he got so much backlash. He was just doing a stream a few minutes ago. I'm not sure if he's still doing it. It's kind of addressing his take. And I know I'm going to be going over his video tonight along with the review from someone else.
I see.
And he said like he'll probably come on later, try to set up something for a debate. And if that happens, that'd be super cool. But if not, it is what it is. So I've just talked about like commentary wise. But yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of well, I didn't watch his video, but apparently it compared it to 98 or something like that, which I mean
essentially he was like Godzilla 98 was bad because like the reputation, but I'd rather watch it the -1, stuff like that.
Yeah. Like I don't know, maybe like I feel like he was just like trying to throw like a jab or something.
He's trying like
he was trying to be
in the live stream he says he's trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like like if there's one thing that I will say before I even go into the video later on tonight, it's the fact that apparently people are calling him racist because he made kamikaze jokes.
Yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, so like
where did that come from? Whoa.
It's like it's not racist, but like it's this probably I guess the same thing as like if someone made a 9/11 joke.
Yeah.
If you don't know someone, it's probably in poor taste. And like with how everything is nowadays, like probably a couple of years ago, I don't think anyone would have cared. But like especially these days,
it's like
everything's a lot more dodgy. Everyone needs to be
everyone needs to be more careful and shit. It's like
about like what they say,
damn.
Like I the first thing that came out of my mind was like I guess like if you're gonna talk about like the film's trying to be serious and you're like, oh, the film's not like essentially what I felt like, because I can't really gauge what his criticisms were necessarily, but it just kind of felt like he wanted the film to be fun and it wasn't fun, and he was like, I want fun movie. I want like fun monster fun, and like Godzilla at his inception was never like that wasn't the point of Godzilla to begin with. Like, of course, like being entertained is one thing, and then having fun I say is another thing. But we'll be going over that later, and actually we may go over it sooner, I think, because the other person who I wanted at least to be on here while I talked about it is here. It's my ex-wife.
Cool. What's up, honey?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, you guys are exes now? No way. This is crazy lore.
We've been divorced for like a
the
while.
lore has developed, man. They're no longer a thing anymore, dude. That's quite
crazy.
I mean, after like the 80,000th beating, I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'll get one more for old times'
Wait a second. You actually had enough brain cells to walk away from after that long? I did not do a thorough job.
That's
I got nothing, man. My brain's fried right now.
Your brain's fried right now. Well, let me hear your thoughts, because you're in for the 90th beating. if what I hear is not good.
That's crazy.
Okay,
damn, that could be taken in two different contexts.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
for real.
I'm good with either. If it's my honey, then...
No, I was gonna.
Oh,
it's not the beating that matters. It is the beater.
Nah, bro, that's actually crazy.
How vulgar can I get?
As like, there's only a few things I think that could honestly either get the thing taken down, and anyone respectable who watches my channel, like teachers or fellow students or prospective dating prospects are probably sleeping right now, so you can go off.
Okay, because I got the perfect analogy for this little movie, right?
Okay, let's see.
So it's like a hand job, right? And
oh no,
it's always a great start. And it starts off pretty nice, like, hand job is a hand job, and it gets a little bumpy. Start squeezing a bit too much now and then. It's going back and forth. You're like, oh, this is quite the experience, you know. But hand job is hand job. You're like, all right, this is all right. And then this lasts for about 2 hours, and in the last 5 minutes, your penis gets ripped off.
Really?
Damn, bro.
Wow. That is, I am super curious. Where, like, at what point does the actual tearing takes place, and did you die of like bleeding, external bleeding? I need to know.
Yo, what movie theater are you at, bro? I'm gonna come.
Excuse me. I mean,
Actually,
I thought I was gonna come, but I didn't.
Is it more impressed with the fact that like she metaphorically ripped it off, or the fact that you're alive to tell the tale in this case?
Wait, she? Oh, this is a dude, bro.
Oh,
What? Nah, the dude's ass.
But saucy analogies, metaphors aside, I'm curious. I'm curious to hear this.
I mean, I guess if I were to translate that, every time Godzilla was on screen, I was in agony.
For real, yo.
Actual...
When Godzilla pulled up to like the train, bro, we heard the theme. I just started screaming out of my seat. I'm not even joking.
Are you saying this in a positive sense or a negative sense?
Positive.
Dom
sense.
is a mystery. Oh, I'll tell you.
Because when I say agony, I mean like negative, like petrified, just pain.
Honestly, I'm a weirdo, so you.
Hey, we're all Godzilla fans here.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm actually curious in this case. Are you do you think
By the way, there's an echo for you.
Really?
Yeah.
The only movie that I hate Godzilla in, which I like, all the bad Godzillas, like GMK. We're mostly just watching it because we're watching it, right? We don't really care who wins or who's not. But like in -1, you kind of do care, right? Like I hate Godzilla.
Okay, I didn't mean that. I just meant like
as a villain. He's an actual villain. Like he's like the Joker. Like I hate him in The Dark Knight.
Damn, Dom, I think you're reading way too into him, my G.
Yeah, bro. I kind of wanted some of the Joker when I watched The Dark Knight. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm actually curious. Like, were you in agony because of the CGI or?
Oh yeah, the presentation. I couldn't take it pooping seriously, bro. Like for example, the opening attack with the oh yeah, we're doing spoilers. Godzillasaur, like as a scene, it's pretty effective. Like narratively, it is tight. Just I could not take it seriously with the CG. That was like straight out of the early 2000s. Like
yeah,
really,
as much as I like
bad.
So here's the thing. I think narratively the film is very good, and I will debate anyone tonight who says otherwise. But
I think it's kind of bad.
For 150 million, like you could tell they were stretching things.
15.
Was it 150 million? I thought it was 15 million.
Okay, so apparently there's no official number. The director said that that all the numbers that have been thrown out are incorrect, but it's been 15 to 35.
Oh, 15 to 35. Like, oh, sorry, 150. Geez, you could tell I'm drinking and I'm tired.
Oh, that's a fun combination. That's
great.
when the meeting started.
Combination. How do you think I was able to bust it?
Bro, J-Do and I are the same right here, bro. We're both drinking water.
I'm drinking water too. I love water.
This is why all the beer was gone in the house because I drank it all.
Yeah, true.
Indeed.
Listen, this body's a temple. I don't put bad things in it unless it's Nate.
It's a crumbling temple, I'll tell you that much.
True.
Don't work on the face was a little cracked, if you ask me.
Wait, but at the same time, like the CGI of that appearance with the whole like first, like I guess you could say like the Godzilla Jr. or like what are we calling this? Like Godzillasaurus. Yeah. Was it like bootleg kind of 2000s bad, or was it like just like bad, like in a sense of like just didn't really
it's like
I'd say in between.
Like
oh, okay.
It's like a tier. You know what the Godzilla kind of reminds me of? I don't know why. It reminds me of that Monster vs. Ape film. If you know what I mean.
Honestly, it kind of does.
What?
It does have the Monster vs. Ape kind of like gloss to it.
Yeah.
The thing that sucks about it is that like I think like if they done more. Like it feels like it was due to the lighting that it just looks really weird.
I'd actually say the
Yeah.
compositing is like one of the strong suits of all the visual effects. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very well composited.
Yeah.
Just what's off is the texturing and shading.
I think it's less the texture, more the shading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest downfall that I would say is consistent throughout the movie, and ironically, I'd say it's actually not as bad with the Godzillasaurus as the animation. Like, this is some of the worst animation I've seen for Godzilla, and I will stand by that.
CG, like
I think that
the
one
like
scene
the way Godzilla
where,
moves,
like-
or
the way
like
Godzilla moves, it's awful.
Yeah.
There's like little to
Yeah.
no momentum to his movements. The
It is kind of
Godzillasaurus,
off-putting, right?
it's very awkward, and it's.
wait, is
I
it
just
like
kept laughing.
wait, are we talking about like the giant form, or are we talking about the
Both of them.
Godzillasaurus?
Giant form. I'd say the
Oh,
Godzillasaurus
okay.
is actually better.
Mm.
The only I feel like the biggest issue with the Godzillasaurus's animation was how it walked, because whenever it stomped, like there'd be like no reverberation in the foot, like it would just flatly hit the ground and
Yeah.
then just lift itself. It reminded me of Fred, because that's a lot of how Fred walked.
That's the thing, is that if it reminds you of Fred in that case, I think probably it was like intentional in that case for like purely weight instead of trying to simulate a reverberation, I guess.
Well, if you're going for weight or mass, you need that reverberation. You
Yeah.
need to add to that scale, because then it feels light and also just feels fake. I mean, even like if you stomp your foot on the ground, you still have a slight little reverberation, or even like the toes spread out a tiny bit. Like there's little things that give the sense of life and movement, like the energy being transferred in your step. That is not here in this movie. Like Godzilla's walk cycle is. It reminds me of a fan animation, because like it's so robotic. Just like
it's like very much like a stomp.
Is that even would that even be considered like a compliment to like other fan animators
No,
out there,
that's
or is
very
it
much
like
an insult.
negative?
I mean, if I said it was like Wobbly Works or Verano, that'd be a compliment. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Verano
actually,
is
hot
Verano's
take.
work.
I think there's like the one issue I have with his animations is that things wobble way
For
too
Verano?
much. Yeah.
I would
I would
agree
say
that
yeah.
Like
for
things
the
like
serious stuff, like the
there's
serious
things that
fights
just like
that he has.
jiggle, and I'm like, why is it doing
But
that so much?
Yeah, but like at the same time, like when you think of like we're kind of going off topic, but I'll try to make it like more like condensed. But like when it comes to Reno's animations, I always thought that it was like more or less mocking the community, if anything. So like
No, 'cause there's
having
some
the
serious
Godzilla's like skin or like all the monsters wiggling around is like probably like mocking like how like maybe if
The
like
suits,
he's mocking
yeah.
like bigger fans, like maybe if they're like he's mocking like they're fat or something like that. I don't know.
No, he's mocking the suits and just.
I
Oh,
think-
just mocking
yeah.
the suits.
Well, like
okay.
some of them
Doing
is
it
like
for-
I think his comedy videos. That's what he's doing. But then
Yeah,
all he
that's when
does
it
is, like,
works. That's when it
Yeah,
works super well.
But then, like
mhm.
with some of the serious stuff, like you'll see the spines for Godzilla just wobble around.
Yeah, it's a little
wobble
off-putting.
around.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I am
that
not
makes sense.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. I love his stuff, man. Especially.
But
the
yeah, he's a
bionicle
great
stuff.
content creator. I'd say
Yeah.
he's
No,
one of
like,
the
very
best in the
good.
community.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Eastern
pretty cool.
Europeans really know how to do like good anything. Honestly, their countries may be absolutely awful in a lot of cases, but man, they are good with their fan
Oh,
stuff.
I'm gonna take this out of
That's
context.
crazy.
Like years down the line, I'm gonna hear like from the Slavic community, like he said our countries were awful.
Hey, I
Oh,
will say,
boy.
I don't like Mexicans, including myself, but the women and the food, oh boy.
No, what did you just say to me?
Oh,
mean,
man.
No, I think I was
I'll take the
disrespectful.
women. I don't need your spicy Canadian slop. Because
crazy.
Mexicans are spicy Canadians and Mexicans are snow Canadian or let's call it Southern Canadians.
Never knew I was half Canadian.
Oh,
That's
what you
crazy.
mean.
That is
Nah, bro, I'm a
that's-
Canadian.
Like never knew I was
Yeah,
half
bro.
Canadian.
Like
Well, that's
Canada,
as crazy
as I
Mexico,
realized.
you could swap them up and down. Not gonna make a difference. They're still invaders to me.
Of course.
This is so bad.
Wait, you're gonna keep this? Are you gonna keep this
Oh,
stream?
I'm keeping this.
Oh, okay, good. Because like,
I like. We do
This is gonna be a
all the
wacky
time.
one.
If someone's like, "Yo, you're actually,"
Oh, yeah.
like, dude, I am like,
yeah,
right
I'm
now.
not. I'm
So, like,
pretty familiar with your streams, man. I actually listen to them like whenever I'm drawing. So like whenever you have a stream, I'm usually listening to it half the time. But
That's beautiful.
yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar with what goes on here, man. Oh boy.
But actually, outside of animation, Braden, I'm curious what your thoughts are on like the actual story, because I remember you were like, yo, if the animation's bunk, okay, but like story. Wifey, I want to hear those thoughts about the story. Don't make me get on my hand.
Whoa! What? Think he cut out, or
Yo, did we cut out? Did we lose him?
Oh, he has to do something. He said BRB.
Oh, he said BRB. Okay, I was
Yeah.
about to be like,
oh yeah,
we gotta get him quiet.
Yeah.
Why you guys were talking? Braden said BRB. Okay.
How was the divorce? Did he take the kids?
No, I saw the kids. I like.
How was the kids?
I didn't feed him at all, honestly, and because of that, he looked super disheveled when we went to the divorce court, and he looked like a crack addict. I accused him of being a crack addict, and
there you
custody. Go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was there. I was the judge.
That'll do it.
I know what you mean. I was the judge. I saw all that on spot.
Oh my gosh.
You over your girl, so that's why you won the court.
I mean, what's it called? Like, now that I'm around women, I kind of do miss them because women. But
oh, thanks, sweetie.
Right,
yo, don't push your luck. I always say these things when you're not around. Oh, I swear to God. I don't hear nothing. You're not getting any alimony.
Okay, so you said in terms of the animation and all that, yeah, I would heavily criticize it, but at the core of any movies, if it's a narrative, have you seen the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it with my bro.
I mean, like, actually, correction. I've seen clips of it. No, I've not seen the whole thing.
Okay. So that movie is an anomaly in the sense of the character work is super, super strong, but the plot is hot garbage. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this movie is along those lines where, like, man, the character stuff is really good. Like, it's really good. The plot is just not it. It's just like... Whenever and it wasn't just his presentation, but like whenever Godzilla was on screen, like there's just a bunch of shenanigans that I was just like, okay, why?
I'm super curious what those would be in that case.
So, the main one that pops in my mind, I'm definitely gonna rewatch this movie and take a lot more notes, but like
this is coming from someone who's seen the movie 3 times now, and I already have.
Yeah, you definitely have.
You've seen the movie 3 times.
This
movie only been out for 2 days. How you watched it like 3 times?
I saw it once 2 days ago, and I saw it twice today.
I watched it like 3 hours ago.
Bro, what? Was it like back to back?
I won't see it until.
Oh yeah,
Sunday,
it was actually back to back. I literally got out of the theater and I got back in line, and someone was like, "Yo, what?"
That's cute.
This is dedication right there.
All right, so like the main sequence, what was the first lizard appearance? Oh, okay, yeah. So second lizard, big lizard, huge lizard.
The ocean fight.
Yeah, the ocean fight.
Chill. Why you gotta say it like that, man?
Sorry, I just really like big lizards.
It's his PTSD from how, like, I would say big lizard in his ear all the time.
Yeah.
What was this relationship?
Oh, it was spicy, just like my people's food.
Spicy, abusive, and thankfully, I did not walk away with it being spicy because there was no doctor's bills in the world that would have fixed that.
True. I wasn't born with autism. You gave it to me.
No, I smacked autism into you, and you know, shots for that. Well, I mean, you took shots, all right.
So when Big Lizard first, by the way, let me just compliment how they build up to Big Lizard in the sense of like they show the map and all the boats like getting destroyed. I'm like, okay, this is pretty sick. I don't want to see him, but this is pretty sick. Then they do show him. Man's like just a goofy little guy jumps out, bites the boat. Okay. That was actually, I'd say, the one shot where I'm like, oh, that's pretty impressive, is when he's coming out of the water and it's like a wide angle from the perspective of the main character's boat versus him munching.
Doing that nom nom.
Yeah, nom nom. Beautiful scale.
Slobbenheimer on the boat.
So we've established, oh, wait, he's just going to sneak up on boats. Like, he just came up right from the bottom. But now that the main characters are in the boat, oh, I guess he's going to show his spines and take his time and slowly approach them. Oh, he's getting shot at. Okay, maybe he's playing with them, like the bomb goes off in his mouth. He falls, gets all injured. All right, now he's roaring at them. He's mad. But then so already it's like, okay, he easily could have killed them fast. Maybe good faith. He's playing with them. I don't know why he's playing with them compared to the other boat. But then the battleship comes, pew, pew, pew. And upon him getting hurt by the battleship, now he rushes over, destroys the thing, and then gets knocked down like a stupid bozo.
Damn.
And then... By the way, if I call him stupid or bozo and stuff like that, that's not a genuine criticism. I just like making fun of him.
No, I know. I got that. Yeah.
I hate Godzilla.
He was stupid at some shots.
Actually, I think like maybe he was a masochist because he'd always say this to me, and I would just smack him like on a reflex as a Godzilla fan, and I think maybe he just liked
Bro,
it. That's what he
what?
kept saying all the time.
Probably,
Godzilla's
man.
just
Probably.
Dumb. He's just a dumb little
Nah,
guy.
that's
Like,
crazy.
Yo, that just shows how much you loved it when my hand made contact with your
yeah, and that's what made me a dumb little guy too.
Damn.
my adorable little vegetable.
Oh, I thought it was a little carrot, but
Bro, I'm about to watch Oppenheimer right now.
so
Oppenheimer. Oh, we're doing
yeah,
this?
and then he gets aggressive upon getting hurt, which, okay, that makes sense, but he seemed pretty passive aggressive when the bomb went off in his mouth, in the sense of like, oh, he's gonna charge and wait his time until he attacks, kind of like intimidating them.
Mhm.
And then he destroys the boat and just swims away, and I guess the main characters are okay, which, like, man, that's such a I don't know if I'd say contrived or convenient. Either or, it's questionable in the sense of those people should be dead. So that's when I feel like the plot issues first started popping up.
I think like my only defense in that case is that outside of the fact that like Yuri took down one ship and then just decides to start chasing another, is it out of the ordinary? No. It's actually consistent throughout the film where it's actually the outlier of him sneaking up on a ship that first time, because almost every other shot is him either below the surface and then breaching with his spines out. And I'm not
You're
sure.
echoing really bad. I'm sorry.
Who am I echoing off? Because I thought it was maybe my headphones.
No, it's I'm sorry. I don't know your names.
Lupin. I think it's Lupin. One sec.
The one with the
No.
not Ultraman PFP.
Yeah, it's Lupin. I think I'm echoing.
Yeah, we're
off.
all echoing.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
there's still an echo.
So,
Yeah, I think I might just. Do you have headphones?
yeah.
Oh, that's super weird then. I'm just actually no. I'll just periodically mute you if I'm talking, just to make a point real quick. Up. Thanks. If you want to say something, just unmute yourself and we'll keep quiet so we can say something. What I would say is that it's actually the outlier of him breaching and taking down a boat sneakily. Because every other point in the movie, he's almost always above water and attacking. So, I would say like the one outlier to get the scene, I would say is fine. Is it contrived? Maybe, but is it so much of a contrivance? Because, I think you mentioned that like it was like he rushes over to attack the boat. I would say he's probably swimming about the same scene because
good
the
faith
smaller
that
boat
could be he was dealt more damage, so of course he's going to be more aggressive.
Well, I'll say he's going to be more aggressive in terms of scuttling the boat, but in terms of speeding over there, I think he was probably swimming at about the same speed, and it's just the fact that the smaller ship is going to naturally be faster than a destroyer. That, and not to mention the fact that the destroyer is there specifically to fight Godzilla. that it's.
I remember
not gonna be run
correctly.
from him.
Mans was rushing. Mans was like going.
But like
over.
after he got hit, he just made a beeline straight to the boat and just didn't care. And the only reason why he stopped against the other ship was because he actually got part of it blown off. Because they do mention him regenerating, but it seems that and this is also consistent, is that unless he's like hit from the inside and something's blown off, he doesn't really stop for anything. Because pieces of him were blown off in Ginza, and he essentially moves at about the same speed as he fighting the Takao. So
for the entire
wait, before you say anything, whoa, spoilers.
Okay, wait, hold on.
posted
That's
this,
a buddy of
specifically-
mine. That's a buddy of mine. Yeah.
I'm about to be Leo.
Nah.
I'm about to be
don't
like,
worry.
actually, should I beat you for this? Because this is your friend. You bring your friend in here?
I didn't know
Come to
he'd
my house?
show up. I didn't know he'd show up.
You didn't think he'd
We
show
actually-
up?
We actually.
You think your
watched
friends
the-
have free reign at my house?
No, that's crazy.
We actually watched the movie together.
Oh no, that's crazy.
Oh my god.
I'm about to just go off on it, man. Like I'm already hyped up for doing the videos and the other like review. After like later on tonight. So oh boy. You already got like I'm ready in an aggressive
Fortnite.
I mean like
Yo,
what's
what
it called? Yeah, but what you gonna say, Brayden?
That if that scene like existed in isolation and like everything else was pretty tight, I would be more generous to it. I'd be like, okay, so it is pretty contrived, but like it's reasonable to a sense. But I'd say that's the start of a trend where there's a lot of plot armor. There's a lot of Godzilla just being stupid and just staying there and waiting, just so the main characters could survive. And the main characters.
Another instance in that case.
Well, the next one is in what's it called? The Ginza. So, I wouldn't say this is a huge criticism. It's just a little thing that bugged me. The whole I've chosen to live life now. It just so happens that the day I have this big revelation, the big thing happens that sets the revelation back. I don't think that's a big minus, but
that scene, right? That same scene. In my
later.
figure, they were like,
No. What were you saying?
So like at my figure, at that same scene, where, like he like pulls out a paper, like the drawing of like that girl, that baby girl. That sounded weird. The baby drew. A couple of people next to me started laughing at the drawing. It was funny because they just started laughing at the drawing. That was the only time they started laughing, bro.
Bro.
In that like emotional scene. It's such a wacky time.
Ironically enough, having seen it 3 times, in terms of that scene, I've seen like twice have people laughed at it, and then once like the whole theater really didn't. But at least to the film's credit, I haven't seen it 3 times, and the 3rd time I saw it with like non-fans. It was very much like the expected scenes were laughed at, and almost every single like serious scene was not. Which I'd say is at least the film's credit. But we were talking about the Ginza attack.
I got.
Is it just like the plot armor of it all?
In a short sense, yes. But on a quick side note, the hardest laugh that I got was the atomic breath when he uses it in Ginza. That got me. That was funny. Yeah. The way he just snaps down, cancels all momentum. It's like, all right, we love your SFM animation. Good job, guys. But in terms of plot, yeah, Godzilla's thighs, that's some plot. But
what?
I honestly thought you were gonna say the feet or something like that. You would like point out something else. With
okay,
that.
his toes are kind of.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of plot on Godzilla.
Feel some pain that you have not felt before.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I will threaten you with a good time because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt you more than it hurts me, but I'm gonna enjoy myself more than you will.
Oh no, that's the part I enjoy the most, though.
Bro,
I mean, hey, regardless, it makes me happy. So
Oh, that's cute.
Well, there you go.
Cutie.
You be saying more crazier stuff than I do, bro.
This is me like 40% filtered, 30% filtered. Yeah.
Well, if you like,
I never say this stuff on my lives. I only say this on others.
this is again. This is why I let people just say whatever they want to a degree. I can have someone try to say something that gets me.
How agree? How agree? I'm about to say the most craziest stuff right now. Okay, how far?
Swear,
how far we going?
I swear, if you just start spamming slurs, I will find you and I will kill you.
Eric's the only one that knows how I am without zero filter. I'm like,
exactly,
bro.
He knows me,
bro. Dom is just he sounds like a fucking kid whenever he's fucking unfiltered.
This is
I don't sound like a Fortnite kid. I sound like a freaking like.
Yeah, you do, bro.
I sound like a you know,
like Call of Duty.
Jesse said I sound like a zoophile. They call me a zoophile. He said I sound like a zoophile.
Bro.
Congratulations, hippity hoppity! You've lost your speaking privileges.
Nate, honey. I just want to say that of all the
I mean, what did I say? I told you guys.
Wait a second, my ex-wife's talking. What'd you say?
Of all the streams I've participated in, of all the streams that I've listened to, and I mean this in like no negative way. This is just an observation I've made. Your streams have like the most autism I've ever seen on lives.
Yo, like literally,
take that as you will.
It's the tism energy that makes these fun.
There's like so much tism energy here. It's nuts.
Oh my god.
I mean, like, think about it this way. I could be prim, I could be proper, and be like, so you can see the composition of the shot shows. Nah. What I want is like that early 2000s slur spamming without actual saying slurs. Call of Duty tism lobby. That's what we love here.
That's cute. That's why I married you.
You married me after a 1v1 on Dust.
Yeah, then we had a 1v1 sword fight. But
what's the reason why
call it more of like a dagger for okay.
Ooh. Don't expose me. That's my cute little guy.
I can't anymore.
That's crazy.
So back to Ginza.
Back to Ginza. These nuts.
Oh my god.
Nah, bro, this is some crazy stuff, chat.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I haven't. Hold on. Let me text my one friend that's comment pissed you off to see if he wants to join later. That'd be funny. He's not much of a movie guy, but like he has stuff to say about this movie.
So like, is he gonna say something so annoying that I beat you instead of him?
Oh, poop! Jaden's in the chat. Hi, Jaden.
Oh wait, I thought he was coming on.
No,
you not get guests? Like this happens all the time. I will have like a dinner party set up. I'll tell you to invite guests, and then they'll like
listen, honey. I'm Mexican. We're always late. Okay, no. I'm standing up for myself. Listen.
But hands on some of the Mexicans, we're not always late. Sometimes we just do it on purpose because
my uncle was late. They got in a bat fight.
This is why you guys have a cartel instead of a government controlling you.
Man, you know what?
Man,
you know what? I can't argue with that.
Can I tell you a story about my family? My uncle, he was late to a party. He got in a bat fight.
He got in a
also, my one buddy that I saw the movie with.
Yeah, black guy. He said. Let's see how many weirdos they bring on here.
Oh yeah. So Ginza, right? I love how Godzilla in his rampage happened to bite a train that chose to bite a specific train right at the specific time that a main character was there, which, okay, whatever, statistically that's possible, but the train happened to break in a specific way that happened to kill everyone except her. I guess no one else grabbed onto their seat, and it happened to swing over a pool of water at a specific height to where she survives.
That's just Godzilla.
Yeah, this is just Godzillatism at this point. And then she happens to be in a crowd in front of Godzilla, which makes more sense because, she's running from the train. Or actually, potentially Godzilla could have walked away, so she might have been able to walk in the separate direction. But her fake honeyboo happens to find her in a whole city. It's not like he knew the train would stop at that place or that it hadn't gotten to the specific area. And then when Lizard go boom, he happens to, it's heavily implied he's like the only survivor after she throws him into an alleyway, which is poofing funny, by the way. It's like, woo! I think like this is what I mean by the character stuff is really good, but the plot is just dookie. The concept of her dying and how it affects him is powerful. Like that's some good stuff. Like he's just chosen to live, and now his primary reason is ripped away from him. Like what's he gonna do now? Like that's some great character work. But how it's done in the fact that he survives because he's in an alley and they just so happen to be near that alley in that specific area, and he despite the fact buildings were all knocked down and he just got a few like bruises, cuts, whatever, like, well, yeah, he was injured, but like, oh, he happened to be the one that survived out of everyone.
I would say like, sure, although granted we also know at the meeting that there was other people in Ginza who survived, not to mention the fact too that we see the Ginza theater that's not the building he was pushed behind still survive. Does the film have plot armor to let its main characters live?
It's pretty big.
I'd say sure, yeah.
It's pretty big. Like they and it gets
actually no, I would say it's big, but it's not big where it's like they literally need to do like editing tricks or
that's the worst of the worst, man. That's like bottom of the barrel, really like Last bad. Jedi. Yeah, we shouldn't even be like talking about that. And the fact of like, there's other ways this could have been done. Maybe she dies like pushing him away from some rubble, and the rubble falls on her. But I guess they can't do that because it wouldn't work for the ending, which I also we'll get to that.
Actually, well, no, I want to hear your thoughts about the ending because
we'll jump ahead. I was going to give the movie a 5 out of 10 by the end of it because I was like, okay, character stuff was pretty good, plot was really messy, but that ending just lowered it to a 4. Like really? In terms of subjective, like,
damn,
God, I don't think I've ever been like as
Zilla
disgusted by a movie's ending, and this is just my subjective like experience in that aspect. But like I could see how one would argue, well, it showed that by him living life he then got rewarded with his life. Okay, maybe, but it's like the way her death was staged and shot, and just like she's dead. Like she's hit by a shockwave. She's pooping dead. Like it's not even like a sneaky kind of twist. It's like, oh, she's very clearly dead, but we're going to use the power of plot to bring her back.
Well, I think like in this case, it's less the power of plot and more the power of like whatever it is they're setting up. Time will tell in that case.
Dude, she got hit by that shot.
Well, no, because of like, are you saying this with context of what we know is on her and whatever that entails, or just like in general as like
in general surviving because
general.
on her is implied it's going to kill her, right? Like that's
It's either going to kill her or like we don't know.
Yeah.
At least from
Like-
what I thought, it's either going to kill her or it helped her survive somehow. Because from what I felt, either she died, like actually died, or whatever like Godzilla did to her is what allowed her to survive. At least that's how I interpreted it.
I feel like that would be.
I'm reading through the novel right now, so I'm not sure.
They already have a novel of the movie already.
The director, he was the VFX director. He wrote it. Was the head director, and he wrote the novel. Yeah.
Bro, what? That's crazy, man.
Mhm.
Jeez.
So like, I'm not sure if like that'll provide like more authoritative context as to that scene because I'm not.
Bro, I ain't gonna use a novel.
I mean, like you can't use a novel, but like if based on the context clues, like I'm gonna say we honestly do not know. But like whatever is there will be objectively more authoritative than
I
whatever.
feel like given
an interpretation of the context clues would be
how the movie like presented just any effect Godzilla had, I feel like there's a heavy implication that she is going to die, which I feel like would also tie into the theme of like, well, she may be dying, but at least we're going to appreciate the life we have. But even with that in mind, I feel like her surviving really, really undermines just the journey his character went through. And if they were trying to go for, oh, look, he survived life, he lived life, so he gets to live a life with her. But like, would it not be more powerful and more in line with the movie's like own tone of grounded realism, suffering, despair, to be like, well, he lived and lost, but he's still gonna live. He's still gonna carry her on, rather than just, oh, she's alive. Like,
I think that's fair. Although, granted, the film is trying to talk about like not losing life or like not sacrificing life. So I think,
well, there's a difference between not sacrificing, like in the sense of we're choosing to go out and die for something, or choosing to stay and live, versus her just being presented as dead and oh nope, she's alive.
Well, I think it's presented. It's like I think like if she was presented as dead without like any context to explain why she survived, then I would grant you that. But
well, there is no context on why she survived.
As in, like, there's no like any reason we could give, because again, I don't buy that we don't know what's going on with her, like on any authoritative standpoint. But I do see the point
about her having that goopy stuff is indicative of that's the reason she lived.
I'd say context clues wise, we don't know necessarily what Godzilla's radiation does to people. We do know, at least in terms of the case of Godzilla, that it regenerates his body, and clearly it gives him regenerative properties that's going to allow him to probably come back some way, somehow.
But given
stuff.
But no, given I want to hear what you counter to that.
Given the context of like the bomb went off, they're suffering because of the bomb, Godzilla's leaving radiation, and that is treated as a negative because they even, I remember they mentioned like, oh, we left the samples, they're highly radioactive, and people are wearing suits. All of it points to this is bad. So I don't understand how there would then
fair, but I'd also say it's like it's good for him. He clearly doesn't see what's happening to her, so it's clearly something that we like. Again, we don't know, and
we don't know. And I'd say
like it just feels like something that was either left as sequel bait or
I felt like,
but like at least for the context clues, I feel that it's a bad thing that what Godzilla left was radioactive. Whatever happened to her and whatever those things did to her, it was good in the short term, but in the long term, I think it's gonna probably.
Well, that's part of my point is we don't know if he did anything to her in a positive sense, which then.
Well, I only think what he did to her was in a positive sense, because I think if it was like if we were gonna get the technically full positive ending, she would have just died. But I think whatever happens is gonna be
I don't know if that's
negative.
Positive. My general issue is just I feel her living is, well, for one, stupid, and two, it undermines just the character journey. It like really undercuts the punch, which I guess a lot of people cried to that scene, which okay. I mean, it is sweet, a family reuniting. I'm not gonna poop and deny that. I just think it really hinders the narrative. And that I guess I'll just quickly run through like the third act is so just contrived. Oh, we happen to have enough people that has enough resources to get this whole military set, because it's essentially a military setup. It's super expensive what they do. Then we just so happen to get help from that one guy who we shoot away. He just so happened to get that many people, and they pretty quickly attach the boats. Like, that's quick. The amount of boats
like, we don't know necessarily how much time is spent there, but we also like,
and then
in terms of it being a military
do?
Operation, like Japan doesn't have a military at this point. So
I know.
We also know that the GHQ has pulled any sort of resources outside of like probably an oversight role. So whatever resources they can accumulate is with the oversight of the government to let them kind of do what they please in this case. Because there would have been like anything that is there is left over from the war, so it's not like they had to then produce all of this infrastructure and materials.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
Real quick, there's someone else who wants to come in.
Okay.
Subject.
Hey.
So, actually, real quick before we go back into the discussion, there, Joey, the one guy, the Adam Does Movies guy, we are like, he may debate me, he may come on the channel, so we have to treat him with a little bit more respect, unfortunately.
Wait. He knows about you?
Well, no, he does know about me. So like, we may, we're gonna go over the video tonight, but we're not gonna go as hard, because I think if he does agree to debate, I think that is admirable.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Did you message him or something, or did he just find out?
Super chat him.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Cool. Raiden, you're good to keep going.
Just Godzilla is an idiot. He's quite stupid. He has low IQ. He's a pea brain. A lot of the third act is him just standing around as he lets them like surround him and all that, and then
let him examine his thighs and toes.
Ooh, man, I wish we got that scene.
Right,
I've turned to no direct, please. I'm sorry. I just Godzilla.
Do you just come back on the streams because you like the sound of my voice and me degrading you like this?
What?
Vegetable fuck.
Hey, what I do to the Veggie Tales is my own business, okay?
Hey, you leave my Veggie
This
Tales
dude is
out
a
of
freak.
Yeah, and then I love the part where they're like, he bit through the floaties, and it's like, yeah, he's an animal. He's gonna try to survive. You guys didn't, try to account for that. You expected him to just.
What looked funny when he was about to charge his point, bro. But like, stop.
Actually, I think another thing too in that case is that like, it's expected, but I also think that they also acknowledge the fact that the plan had dozens of holes in it to begin with. So them acknowledging that, I think, is them just acknowledging it. Could we?
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Feel like
Okay,
it would be lampshading in a sense, because they don't do anything to try to remedy the holes. They're just like, oh, there's holes.
Well, no, there was holes, but they also didn't think that. I think that really, it would only be lampshading if there was hypothetically another thing they could have done with the technology they had to have stopped it and just chose not to. Like
that, yeah, that's.
Is it possible to have nuked Godzilla? Probably. I don't think it would have done anything.
They should have just tickled his toes. I would have done it.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's you. That's
real
you
quick. I am gonna go to the bathroom. And sorry, Brayden, you're not getting the golden shower this time.
Oh,
so in this case, Eric, you're in charge while I'm gone. Entertain chat for me.
All right. Booga booga.
All right, let's talk about the five.
Let's talk about how King Kong is superior to Godzilla.
True.
True.
Ironically believe
King
that.
Kong, you know what, dude? Like, even without the battle axe, man, he would have whooped that lizard's ass, dude. Oh my god.
Facts, bro.
Facts, bro. Oh my gosh, dude.
Like, ain't no way a giant lizard beating a giant monkey, bro. A giant monkey taking it on, dog. Like, bro, so what? He can shoot a contract. Whatever. Monkey see, monkey do, bro. He can probably do the same thing.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Like, bro, come on.
I just think that, he just wasn't used. He King Kong wasn't really used to his full potential in that one fight, man. In that one ring.
But they nerfed him, bro. Man. They nerfed him.
They nerfed, man. They nerfed my boy, dude. That's really.
He should have started off the whole MV, bro.
Probably, man. Honestly, crazy with it. I don't know how to do these. Well, obviously, I mean, I can't do it because Zim is in charge. But this person right here, with him biting through the devices, and why they were surprised because Godzilla's body should have been broken to a point because of the heavy pressure and the rapidly changing pressure. I mean, what does that have to? I think it has something to do with the Godzilla thing, right?
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but my interpretation of that comment is that they did not expect having to get that far, in the sense of like, well, the pressure should have affected him enough for him not to do that.
Yeah.
Plan B was set with the thought process that Plan A did not work. By that very logic, should you not try to fix any holes that are in Plan B? So if Plan B exists for the fact that you're assuming Plan A is ineffective, would you not then assume that he is able to bite through Plan B?
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
Wacky.
Mm-hmm. Bro, like honestly though, like hearing all this, man, makes me even more excited for the film. Have not seen it yet, but I haven't seen it, but I don't care for spoilers. I'm still gonna watch it no matter what.
Themes, like the Godzilla themes they play?
Yeah.
All one of them.
I haven't seen them, but I've heard them.
Okay, so now that Zim's
that's what I meant.
What's up, honey?
Zim's back, there's something.
Oh, he's back.
If I listen back and I hear any kind of Fred love on this channel, I will find you and I will drown you in a mountain of beans. Like
I think
the Frijoles, I will pour down your family's throats for the slander.
I want to kiss Fred
and love of Fred on my chat.
That's an
bro. What was that, Dom? You wanted to kiss him, dude?
Dinner.
Some of these people like being choked because y'all fucking gay.
Okay.
I'm not gay. I just really love men.
You have like a folder for two big oil Wagman kissing.
But here's something I wanted to say, but it's
you keep on dying.
I do keep dying, bro.
This is something I wanted to say, but it's a little late since I was in backstage for a while.
No. We can go back. Let's go back.
Thank you for that, Zim.
Let's go backstage.
So basically,
wait. You said go back.
Yeah, like
Nate took
okay. Joey, explain.
Go back to slavery.
Okay, so first thing I.
Bro, you're evil.
Chat, that was actually
in your videos for you. You do that for Timmy.
You're welcome.
That's evil, bro.
Okay, so on the thing of Noriko surviving, I disagree on that being a what's the word I'm looking for? On that being contrived. Like, is that what you were saying, Brandon?
Braden.
Yeah.
But
I disagree. But here's why I disagree on that. Mainly since, like, the reason why it was so impactful is for a while, the lead guy throughout the film, he was discovering his purpose in life, and the whole thing on Noriko giving him a reason to live, what she gave him was, well, first, vengeance. But then eventually he decided he wanted to live instead of going down with that plane with Godzilla. But around the end, one of the things this period piece setting actually takes advantage from is the fact back then, there really wasn't any way for him to know. So the fact that she survived and was in a hospital, he was only able to find out by a note, which is why around the end, when he started crying on her and cuddling with her, it was so effective because he didn't get the note until after he defeated Godzilla, and he had his quote-unquote happy ending, depending on, well, how you interpret that
happy ending, right?
Yeah.
I never got that.
There's different interpretations you can give on that ending, because one of the inspirations for -1 was Hideki Anno with Shin Godzilla, and you all know how Hideki Anno is. Hideki Anno is all about keeping stuff vague and leaving stuff for the interpretation. Like, for example, Like, for example, with Neon Genesis Evangelion, like my interpretation of Evangelion might be correct, or it might be one of those interpretations Anno would fucking frown at, because there's some interpretations of Evangelion when brought up to Anno in real life, he frowns at because he's like, that's not what I was getting at. And
what's your interpretation of the hospital scene?
My interpretation of the hospital scene, I've seen -1 once, so I can't.
No,
really...
I'm talking about Evangelion.
Oh, you mean?
Oh.
That is them jerking off to you in your sleep.
I like that interpretation.
Honestly, I take that a lovely embodiment of me.
I think generally too, the one thing, obviously since I am slightly buzzed and very tired, I
so
can't
cute.
really
I love
think
that
of
combination.
a good defense of this, but
my bruises are tingling.
I think
what does that mean?
Generally, when it comes to plot armor with main characters, I do have like I probably will want to talk about this because I haven't actually done a movie review in a while, but
I'm sorry, you're so far gone.
I do think that like at least there is a expected degree of plot armor that is acceptable, and there's plenty of good examples within good narratives that allow for it. The degree in which it becomes egregious is give or take. But I do think also there's another case where you could be expected where a character could die, and logically someone could probably parse out as to why this character could have died. But then in other cases, like if you consider the following in other instances, that no, they probably should have lived.
Well, yeah, because
the basic, like the biggest example I can think of at least is actually, how many of you read?
I'm illiterate.
I believe
I failed my reading class.
I watched.
No, shut up.
Okay, fine. How many of you watched Game
Oh my God,
of
held back to
Thrones?
you.
I've only
I don't
watched
like Game of Thrones.
Never. I've seen Chase explain on the Giants.
I only
he
watched
talked
the
a little
Amelia
bit
Clark
about it.
sex scenes.
God damn
Oh.
it. How many of you
60s
saw the
I might
red?
watch that.
How many of you saw the red wedding scene from
No.
Game of Thrones?
What's the red
No?
wedding scene?
No, I've never
Is
seen
that
that.
that one red? Is
Okay.
it red?
So, like in the context of it, a lot of people praise that scene in both the book and the show because it's
That's
the
right.
quote unquote consequences of a character getting their comeuppance because of their decisions. But when you think about it, honestly, they should have seen certain things coming. And even though it was in character for them to expect the best, a lot of what takes place there feels more like they were like shoehorning this character in to die. Not to mention the fact that this character wasn't a POV character, as in they weren't a character you saw the thoughts of in the book. So because of that, it was more easy to kill them off.
That's basically how I thought about Noriko, because for a while I thought they were gonna kill her off. So here's the thing: on her revival, that served as more of a plot twist for me, because the thing is, I was thinking while I was watching the movie, she's gonna die, and she didn't, and that's one of the reasons it turned out so powerful. Alongside the fact, well, he was a kamikaze. His duty was to, well, fucking die. But the thing is, the moment where he chose, he had a similar arc to Akane and against Mechagodzilla. He was originally going to go down while taking it with the ship, but he decided his life was worth it. And after he decided his life was worth it, it turned out she was still alive. So he had a trophy to coming back instead of dying.
That's gonna be taken so far out of context. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you think she's a trophy wife? That women are property."
I realized that moment I said it. I was
Whoa!
like, when you said that,
I mean, I didn't think that.
People have been saying like, "Oh, people make like,"
And I'm playing better than
"Oh, this is
Hunter
racist" or some odd. It's been crazy.
No,
But
I
you
do.
do-
I mean, wait. I mean, like, have you ever like had someone like in the, like not like in this stream, but like in the comments, like just like, yo, what did you say about the women or something like that? Like,
not in my chat, but like seeing it across like other forums and stuff. Yes.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I personally wouldn't really worry like about that. Like, I mean, because obviously we know what you're talking about. You know, obviously we don't like have that sort of mind. We don't see that in that kind of way.
I want to say for the record, for the public, I don't care your race, your sexuality, your gender. I hate all of you. You're all disgusting.
There you go, man.
I gave him my cynicism.
No, you just gave me bruises, but
no, I gave you cynicism, and the bruises helped with that.
Cute.
But like, I think at least like a more
no. The fact that he said cute was ashy.
No, I would like to comment on the trophy thing. I'm not. Yeah. I take issue with that in a narrative sense. I don't care with the whole misinterpretation of the context of that. Yeah, it does feel like an earned trophy. Like it doesn't feel like a natural. And I'm saying more in terms of the execution of it rather than the concept itself. A twist ending of someone surviving is like inherently, that can work out. But it's and I'll keep going back to this: the execution, the way her death is shot, like that's a strong shockwave. It's yes, it's revealed later that other people survived, but like it's heavily implied he's one of the few survivors. Like he's alone in the black rain. It's rubble absolutely everywhere. If it had been something different where maybe she was covered or they got separated, it's more believable.
Mm-hmm. Did you finish? I'll let you finish. Sorry, I thought you were finished.
Well, yeah, I'm finished with that point in the sense of like it's just very it's very got you in the sense of like we did everything we could to make sure she's dead.
Well, the thing is that was a very strong hit, but the thing is you still don't see where she's pushed, and as stated,
she's airborne.
Yeah,
if a human is launched at that speed and they hit the ground or they hit something, they're dead.
Yeah,
like they're dead. No one's gonna survive that. She was Nate, you can correct me on this, but like she was at least over like 3-4 feet up, being launched at miles per hour.
Well, in terms of like force. If we're gonna be realistic, could she have survived? Yes, there are outlier cases. I think it speaks more to your point of plot armor rather than the point of realism in that case. Mm-hmm. And I think I would make a point more about plot armor with characters, but I honestly should not be buzzed for that, so I could actually make that point better.
But because you're so cute when you're buzzed.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I get to hit you harder, because then I have like no restraints. I'm literally like a fucking monkey in that case. I let all that rage go. But I do agree. I agree with both of you in that sense where it's could have happened. Yes. It speaks more of the plot armor, but is it satisfying for the audience to see her survive? Yes. My thought hinges more on like the author intent, and then if I can look back at the film for a fifth time, because I'm gonna see it 2 more times. Oh my god, this guy. And
I think it undercuts the narrative. Like it may be satisfying for the audience in the sense of happy ending, but I think it very much undercuts his journey. And it treats her more as like a trophy in that sense rather than like a natural conclusion. It's like, oh, here's your reward for living life, instead of we all agree the movie is very grounded. The movie takes a realistic
I think the film is grounded, but it does play far more into archetypes than I think people think. I think ironically enough,
in terms of death and life, like in order to keep the stakes as well. But then that goes to the plot armor.
I would say like in this case too. I would say it's ridiculous, but then we have to extend that to every single character, which then, if we're consistent in that case, sure. But she is like she's not the only character who survives at that point, and I think that's
part of my issue.
No, then I'd say that's fair, but I think that because everyone survives, and I think the fact that narratively the point of Operation Sea God was to have a essentially a mission with no spent life for because technically you could rhetorically say every death in World War II on the Japanese side was done in a way to either build a narrative or stall for time, and the narrative that the government overall has like made has still built a narrative, even if we say that those lives were technically sacrificed from our perspective, sure. But I would say that by having there be technically no sacrifices at the end of the movie, not only does it criticize the actions of the Japanese government better, I think it also allows not only for a better future because it is people like this leading the country, but it also allows them to have happy endings as well. So I think from a, like, I don't even want to say this, like a quote unquote political narrative, I think the characters having the plot armor they have narratively works better than allowing them to die.
No, I would not say that. I agree with that concept, but I do not agree with how it was executed in the fact of Godzilla's an idiot in the third act. He stands around, lets them do things, and at the end with his atomic breath, he waits.
No,
like,
no,
he
I would
just
say
waits. He just
no.
stands
Like I
there.
would say this too, actually, to counter that, because we see him use his atomic breath. The atomic breath is spent. Both of those destroyers do nothing to aggravate him outside of what Shikishima does. So unlike his battle with the Takao, where the Takao caused greater damage on him and Godzilla averted his fight, like averted his gaze, and the same thing in a Ginza fight, where it's only the tanks that avert his like where he's going. Shikishima distract him how he does, I think works. And then it's only after he's brought to the surface does he then strike, try to attack the destroyers, and then Shikishima does indeed distract him. I think it's possible for him to have done that. And I like that. That's what I would say, at least. Again,
so
here's something I want to say on topic.
Wait. Actually, Joey go and then Brayden go.
Yeah.
Okay. Something I want to say on the topic of plot armor. I will say this. I don't think it's art's responsibility to replicate reality in any sense. What matters is how these rules are established in the world. Like, for example, when it comes to everything involving the quote-unquote plot armor in the movie, all of that is done with justification. Like, for example, Shikishima surviving that explosion, he got pushed out of the way. Noriko surviving that explosion, we don't see how far she's launched. Now, if we saw her get launched in a fucking black hole or get decapitated or some shit, like, yeah, that would make no goddamn sense, even in the universe. But the thing is, it's never really established how much the person can take. Because the thing is, like, there's some art that is meant to completely stray away from reality. Like, for example, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, when it goes to the wrestling match, everyone in that wrestling ring is acting over the top as all hell. Why? Because they're not trying to replicate reality. They're not trying to talk like real people. They're trying to talk like they're in a fucking WWE match.
Isn't that then reality?
But that's what
the reality of that context.
I would give Brayden, wait, Joey, I would say address that point because I do agree with Brayden's point where it is reality within that context.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to that movie, though, is wrestling, on the other hand, is real in that film. They're not acting there, yet they're still hamming it up like they would in a WWE match that in real life is just staged. But in the concept of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, it's supposed to be happening in real life, yet they're still talking like wrestlers and shit like that. They're still hamming it up.
But that's still their reality. Where
I'd say like
it.
I don't think it's the best point, but I do get the sentiment you're trying to make. Where
I understand, what you're trying to say.
Film, there's a heightened reality, but like I would say generally,
I understand that point, and I think that works within specific context, but I don't think it works with it as a defense for this movie, given the fact that it's established very early on. This is our world. Just Godzilla exists.
Well, I would say it's our world with a lot of historical changes as well.
Yeah, and a few extra technologies, but in terms of like
no. There's no like increased like changes in technology because
the floaties are
the
possible.
The floaties are possible. Are they like? Do we have that specific floaty? No, but is that floaty real? Sure.
That was the only
but
thing that stood out to me, is like, okay, that's a little extra technology, and I wouldn't hold that against the film.
I
Like,
don't
it's
even hold that against it because I
believable.
think like specialized flotation devices. I don't even think that's weird. I think the one thing I like people like because I had seen it like more than once and people kept asking me about this, having gone out of the theater twice to fresh crowds, was if the like the plane, I was gonna say ship, if the plane was a real thing, which it was. But everything presented is real in the sense that it could happen or has happened, and Godzilla is the only
He's the only variable.
The only variable.
And by that in mind, we then realize that humans are going to suffer damage that they do, especially given the
but
fact.
Then, like, I would say in that case too, if we're gonna use that as the point, then humans in contact with Godzilla would have abnormal changes to them, because again, I would say there's enough to support the fact that whatever Godzilla did to Noriko could be beneficial to her, but have a like twist to it in a negative way. The best example I could give with humans in a quote unquote regular setting would be Star Wars, in the sense of in the first Star Wars movie, when we have the Death Star run, outside of this, we don't know, and it's never explained in the film, that like force wielders would have like extra paracausal or even extrasensory abilities when piloting ships. All it has been told to us is that it helps with things like lightsaber fighting, and that's specifically tied to a Jedi weapon. And in this case, like, you could make the argument that there's enough context clues to be like, well, Luke could block lightsaber bolts, blaster bolts with a lightsaber while training. It could make sense that his piloting abilities would be better while he's flying down the Death Star run and not get shot down. Or you could say that he's the main hero of the story, so therefore he's able to get to the end of the Death Star trench and fire out the shot because he's the hero, and this needs to happen part of the hero's journey. It is only expanded upon further on that force wielders can use their abilities to become better pilots and have extrasensory abilities in the EU, and then specifically Lucas himself says in the Phantom Menace that it gives force wielders these kind of greater abilities. I would say generally there is enough ambiguity to where Noriko surviving makes sense, and I think thematically, I would say from a political standpoint, it makes more sense for the characters to survive in the last moment, and there's enough context clues to support the fact that Godzilla wouldn't have targeted them the same way, because the
I'd say
only
the
time
context is not there.
but because,
given the
like, for
fact-
example, we know that Godzilla uses his atomic breath the first time against one ship that's like hitting, like going straight at him while Shikishima's not distracting him. Godzilla uses his atomic breath. He needs to regenerate. They specifically say that, which allows Operation Sea God to take place. Once he goes down and once Godzilla comes back up, he starts to target the main ship. When Shikishima like starts going directly towards him is when Godzilla changes his target. And this is consistent specifically with the fact that Shikishima's been the one that's directly been luring Godzilla, so it makes not only narrative sense, but also in world sense for Godzilla to have changed targets in that instant. Had it been someone else, or had Shikishima not done a successful job earlier, it would make that scene specifically a stretch. But I do understand the point that it could be seen as like exceptionally plot armory.
I would say it's very much plot armor, because it's established that the moment the top spine hits, it's like a trigger. The moment it like snaps up, that's what snaps his head down. Given the rate at which the spines are going up that we are shown, there is no like reason outside of plot that it should have stopped its ascent and then his head wouldn't shoot down, because we're given a lot of time where they're staring, they're preparing, and even when it's like, oh, he's about to fire, the movie establishes time for them to look up and watch the plane as it flies towards him. That is a lot of
having
time.
the fact that I'm going to see the movie another time. I'm going to have to see whether or not the Shiden we know for a fact can make that distance in 40 knots. I also know for a fact too that Godzilla never used the breath outside of the context of him being damaged, because every time Godzilla used the breath outside of one instance, which was the Ginza fight, he was hurt and needed to regenerate.
So there is an exception.
So no. The exception being that Godzilla was outside of the blast radius and was able to fire his beam so far away from himself that he wouldn't get hurt. Every other time, which would have been the
there's
Takao
also the
fight.
boats.
No, because when you see him in the Takao fight, when he gets back up, he's actually still charred and blackened from that fight. So he's injured in that instance, and he's injured in Operation Sea God, which would give him time to regenerate. And you could also say too, hypothetically, and I'm saying hypothetically completely because it does not. No, there's no scene that says otherwise. Godzilla just goes back into the water after firing on Ginza. But every other instance where we see him right afterwards, or it's directly stated, he needs to regenerate. So I would say in that instance, I would probably have to think how long would it take 40 knots? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that right now.
That's not even counting the time which they were staring before they saw.
Also, for context too, when we see them staring, it's also in slow motion too. So we'd have to accept time dilation in that scene too.
It's still quite a bit of time, and this is after the spine has clicked, or rather shot up.
I don't. I'd actually literally. I am buzzed, so I'd have to rewatch. I'd have to.
This is like really, really stretching it, man. And if you have to do that for every instance, like, oh, he shoots up and grabs the boat, but then he takes his time with the main characters. Then he goes to the other boat. Then he just so happens to come across the main character, who just so happens to be the only one to survive, who just so happens to fall in the right place with the pool, who just so happens to be found by the character, just so happens to survive the shockwave. He just so happens to survive the shockwave. Then you get to the final fight where he just so happens to stand by and let them surround him, just so happens so he doesn't shoot the atomic breath in time. Like, those are just the big ones. Like, if you're having to stretch that would be every single time.
I wouldn't say that's even like, I'm not even stretching, because like I could probably stretch further. Like, I would say this is me kind of just spreading my arms like I do when I give you a hug when I think I'm being affectionate.
Oh yeah, and you just punch me in the gut.
Exactly.
Part, by the way.
No, it's not. Jeez, I didn't realize I hurt you so bad that you forgot. It's not a punch in the gut first. It's a knee to the head, an elbow straight to the jaw, and then a punch in the gut. So then you're on your knees.
We call that the Nate Nasty.
No, that's called the Nate combo. The Nate Nasty is what I do afterwards.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, sorry.
But
what do you mean the Nate Nasty?
I'm definitely gonna want to do this again, but I do want to get to what's his fucking name?
Where is the name? Guy?
No,
debated it. Oh,
not Roger, not that does movies guy.
Okay.
Roger Moore. He was one of two people who did Godzilla. I think you're confusing with someone else, but he's done a few movies. Or like done a few movie reviews. I want to read this because it is actually insane. And this guy should just stick to political commentary instead of like movie reviews.
Are you sure about that too?
No, I am actually sure about that because some of the things he says is actually fucking stupid.
That's crazy.
Get me heated.
Wait, by the way, quick little thing. Jaden, hi. How you doing?
Has he been talking at all at this point?
Fortnite.
Hey, yo, Fortnite. Yo, Don, what you like? Be hopping on, bro. Get some kills, yeah?
I spilled my cold water.
Let's get on bet.
Quick thing, Jaden, what did you think of the movie? Because all I asked
we got a day left till OG's done. It's the last day on OG.
Oh, fuck, man. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Jaden, what did you think of the movie?
I mean, I was already on in the first place. But okay.
What happened? My stupid tiny brother is bullying me.
Oh, that sounds like a skill issue on your part.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Honestly, you should when he's sleeping, right?
Okay.
Put him in a
stop.
bag.
All right. I thought that was.
Put him in a trash bag. Put rocks in there. Right?
Oh my god, bro.
Go to the pier. If you have a pier at our beach, right? Go to there and then drop the bag and walk up.
This is why I don't deal with Californians. You guys have got like your Pacific Ocean stuff.
I hate them.
Dude, that's Brayden. He likes Godzilla's toes, bro.
I do like Godzilla's toes. Do you have a problem with that?
But what's it called?
Yeah, bro.
Yo,
Moldy,
yo,
moldy
I'm gonna start reading this, and y'all are gonna be like, "What?"
All right.
So,
All right, lay it on me, baby.
movie review. No one.
Whoa!
Oh no, there goes Tokyo. ... again. Godzilla -1. I'm not gonna read this thing right here. Actually, no, I should. Godzilla -1 is an ambitious reset of the famed Japanese movie monster, a reboot of the franchise, and the character introduced in the 1950s as an allegory of Japanese victimhood in the nuclear age. Hey, fuckhead.
Wait, what?
In the nuclear age.
What?
You stupid son of a bitch.
In? Oh shit.
Writer, director, and effects supervisor Takashi Yamazaki, The Fighter Plane, I think that's one of the other movies he did, gives us hints of the parable he'd like this new film, set much sooner after World War II, to be. That's so weird. That sentence
Hey,
is so
sweetie,
stupid.
I'm so sorry. Could you like zoom in your page so I don't have to look at that foot?
Yeah.
What
is neuropathy?
Why? This is what happens when you're a low tier
Did you just
reviewer.
zoom out?
Yeah,
Nah, but when I get a little better.
When you're a low tier movie review and you need stuff like that to
Brayden,
keep
I thought you liked
site
feet.
afloat. Yeah, actually, yeah, no, good
Godzilla's
point.
feet. Only Godzilla's feet.
Okay, fair enough.
you're
I'll give you that.
freaky.
But
You're
yeah,
freaky for
that
real,
whole
though.
that sentence right there, writer and director and effects supervisor Takashi Yamazaki, the fighter pilot, gives us hints of the parable he'd like this new film set much sooner after World War II to be. That just sounds too long, but grammatically it's correct. So
I couldn't
whatever.
put that together in my head.
English is a language, and it in fact can say things.
It's a tale told on the cusp of the moment when Japanese built for a war wait. It's a tale told on the cusp of the moment when Japan's guilt for a war that country's government started and prosecuted with fascist barbarity for a dozen years would morph into a populace, then embrace victimhood is easier to swallow.
Bro,
I don't even know what that sentence
Bro, what
I don't know if making
movie is he
anime.
describing, man?
I don't know if making anime is victimhood.
Like again, like for context, when you look like that right there,
jeez,
most of what you do
crazy.
is like political. Like most of your tweets are about politics instead of movies. Then it really kind of shows where your priorities are.
Yeah, I think I've heard of this guy. I don't remember what he reviewed, but I've heard of this guy.
And then wait, the victimhood easier to swallow. Tokyo, I don't want to see it in flames again. There's no context behind that scene there, and it just feels like you're mocking the fact that probably a bunch of civilians died. Instead of like the soldiers who support the quote unquote fascist government. It sounds like, oh my gosh, there's so much fascist stuff going on, and I need to criticize it because I'm an NPC, and this is the only thing I can talk about.
That is the gayest shit I've ever heard. I'm talking about
hey, that's his bedroom voice. Don't judge him.
Whoa, what? Nah, these are crazy, bro.
What are you talking about, Braden? This is the voice I always use when I pounded ass.
No, that's your submissive voice. What are you talking about?
This film's characters have moments where they speak to the modern Japanese audience. A top-down cultural complementary led into an economic stagnation, declining population, and unaddressing war crime, guilt, racism, and the like.
What the fuck?
What?
Wait. It's almost like so many of those things don't have to do with one another, and then you add them all because you don't like this movie. You also don't like the bad things that the media tells you to, and then you want to add them all together because you actually are stupid and you have a suboptimal IQ. Like this film is called -1, but I think you have more than -1 IQ, honestly.
Wouldn't more be a compliment in this sense?
This country never changes. A character mutters in Japanese with English subtitles. Perhaps it can. Wow, it's almost like soldiers who are in a war could criticize their own government and therefore not be complicit or really not agree with the choices their government made. Wow, it's almost like people are not a monolith, and probably people like you think they are because you're fucking stupid. the effects are terrific. That's so weird. It's super it's super weird that people who like dislike this movie outside of Braden, I like
Hi.
me being somewhat more sober because I'm going from like somewhat happy drunk to angry drunk. Like they will say that the effects are terrific. Like I like the effects to a degree, but like there's a lot of bad effects in this film, and that just comes with the fact that this budget is really small. But they'll be like, "Oh, the effects are terrific," but I don't like the message.
I'd also say the sound is doogie.
The soundtrack
like
or just the sound effects.
Sound effects.
Okay.
Sound mixing's pretty nice. I'll give it that.
I think
sound mixing's actually really nice, but the sound design is just. Bleh.
I do want to say, Zim,
yeah,
in terms of the when it comes to special effects, I think when it comes to judging quality, it's not really about looking the most expensive, but it's about seeing the effort that went into bringing it to life. Like, for example, shows like Kamen Rider or Ultraman. You could tell they were on a limited budget and deadline, but what makes them so impressive with some of the stuff they pull off is, they put a lot of time and effort into bringing it to life. And that's why I'm critical for stuff like the MCU, because a lot of Disney CGI, they have all of this fucking money, and a lot of it looks like shit. And
because they don't give them enough time.
It's about, as Shiro Sano said about King Kong vs. Godzilla, it's not about looking real, it is about showing they can do it. And they did show that they could do it with -1. In fact, I'd say a lot of it looks indistinguishable from a bigger budget. But even when it comes to lower budget things, it's all about how far they can push that budget with skill.
If we're going by the logic, it's the fact they put so much time into it. Wouldn't that also defend Marvel in a sense, given the fact that they put a lot of time into those effects? Maybe it doesn't show because of the quality is a different determiner, but like the VFX artists put quite a bit. Like they go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of revisions. Should they? No.
Actually, no. I would say no, because in that case, that is honestly because there's so much of the film that is good in -1 with such a minuscule budget compared to Marvel, and Marvel has such a an exceptionally larger budget where they could probably not hire so many actors who need so much money and instead use a lot of their budget into actually tightening up the VFX or not spending so much time on reshoots. Those films should look not like the Marvel films look closer to -1, far more closer to -1 than they should. And I think that that's a problem.
I'm not defending Marvel. I'm
I'm not saying you are, but I am saying that if that is the point you are making, I think that there is a counter to that point.
The point I'm trying to make is that the time and effort put into it should not be the determiner, because that's outside
you lost Jaden.
You missed my point.
While you guys do that, I'm so sorry, Jaden. I'm in.
Are you simping for the woman now?
I mean,
what the? Yo, what was that?
That was a Tism stream, if I've heard one.
That is a Tism, all right.
Bro, that was like some Five Nights at Freddy's scheme, though.
Well, here's what I was saying there.
While you go do that, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I will be right back.
Bye,
you are in charge of keeping the peace.
I think you misunderstood what I was saying, and I understand. So let me rephrase that. The time put into it doesn't matter, but it's a matter of how you can if you can tell all the effort that's put into it by what you're seeing. Marvel, while there's a lot of
how do you tell that?
It's basically about forming your subjective perception off what you're seeing. Like when it comes to Marvel movies, forming a subjective perception. Like, for example, when it comes to film critique, it's about looking at things in the most objective way possible and forming your interpretation on why something is the case. Some people might have a different opinion on why that is because it's not exactly provable, but in a debate, it could kind of settle one's take on it. But when it comes to a Marvel movie, when you look behind the scenes, there probably is a lot of time that's going into crafting it. But when you're watching it on the movie, a lot of it the time and effort does not show. And when there's that huge budget they have, it just feels very lackluster because you're like, they are capable of pushing this further. They are not pushing their boundaries with the billions of dollars they're given for the special effects alone.
So what's the determiner? Because I feel like you're saying a lot of you'll be seeing this, you'll be seeing the fruits of this. Well, what are the fruits? How do you define these fruits? Like what is your qualifier?
The qualifier generally depends on on the argument being made generally. Like,
okay, so how do you feel about the Flash where they said that the time warp and all that looks bad on purpose because he's warping physics so the lighting is off?
I think that's bullshit. Like, normally I would take something like that at face value, but from what I've seen of The Flash, on why I think that's bullshit is, one, you have Shin Kamen Rider that did that fight scene that did speed much better because you have them going in this laggy-like sense where it represents the fact that they're running so fast, the human eye could barely catch up with them. Not to mention on this one...
But isn't that a different context? Isn't that a different work of art and they're going by their own different rules?
Just walked in on a
that is fair,
thing.
but in terms of
Someone
this one in
bring me up to
particular,
speed.
and in terms of the
No,
Flash,
right now
visual effect.
They're comparing Kamen Rider and the Flash.
Shin
speed.
Kamen Rider and
Yeah.
the Flash's
by a long shot.
effects of them running or something like that.
Yeah, my point is that both were going for a similar concept of retortion, and one doesn't look like an Xbox 360 game. And also, in terms of the Flash, another reason why I
What's so
think it
wrong
was...
about Xbox 360 game?
Huh?
Hey, don't disrespect Xbox 360 games. I grew up on
Yeah,
those.
some of them look pretty sick, bro.
Well, like,
Hold
for
on,
example,
man. I gotta be just fucking Xbox 360s for that.
I like to, or I want to say something real quick. Oh, okay. Zim already answered the question right there.
one more thing I want to say. On terms of the Flash, on why I think it doesn't align even more. Like, there's this shot where he's running with Supergirl and someone else, and they run in front of the camera. Right before they stop, the special effects don't slowly fade into looking normal again. Right when they stop, it still looks just as clunky as it did when they were running. So it kind of falls apart in that regard.
So would you say that the quality of the effects is then established by the internal consistency of it, how it fits within the context of the narrative?
I'd say it would. Some people could probably disagree with me on this. That's where subjective perceptions come in.
Honestly, I should have just drank my own piss at this point because then I would have been more informed on the meta of this debate.
What?
And I would have been able to.
Hey, you don't have to drink it, but I can.
Well, like I was about to
I
say,
already told you, you are
God,
banned
bro.
from golden showers.
well,
Shut
like I was about to say, in
your
terms
mouth.
of
I hate all of you, bro.
like it's established. Like I said, it's established, but the thing is, I think they're bullshitting because, again, when it comes to the movie, it doesn't line up with what they're saying. Now, someone could give an argument on why they disagree.
Ooh,
with
that's a
it.
beautiful snipe.
Like, someone could give an argument on why they disagree with me, but the thing is, my take on there is I think the director is pulling that right out of his ass. Since, like I said, on that scene in the movie, when they're slowly stopping, it still looks just as clunky as when they're going super fast. So it doesn't align.
So I 100% agree with
To
that.
be the debate barrier guy, I want to get everyone.
Bear guy? What the hell is that?
No,
bear
I
guy?
just want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I don't think it is at all subjective perception that determines the quality of visual effects. From what I find to be the most consistent and the most fair to products, and also from what I've found from actual like visual effects artists, in terms of if you gathered like 100 VFX artists and asked them like, what is your goal for VFX? Like, what's the purpose? To service the narrative, to be internally consistent with the narrative that you have established. So in the sense of -1, if you've established that this is a grounded world, that this is a serious tone, that we're going through deep concepts like life, and that this monster is of our world, but of course, greater than our actual reality, you're going to want to bring him to life. That is what is most consistent with the tone and the internal narrative. You're going to want him to be as believable as possible. And I would say that's why it fails as a visual effect, because he does not he's not believable. His animation is super janky and stiff, and it doesn't obey basic rules of momentum. So in that sense, the believability is objectively broken within its own context, and that's why I feel -1 fails in the visual effects aspect.
Well, here's something I want to say in terms of what I mean by subjective perception.
You're gonna wrap it up, by the way, because I just realized I'm gonna drop one person to let someone who's in the back come on real quick to give their thoughts. I do find the debate interesting, but only because I got people in the back.
Okay, but something I do want to say, in terms of subjective perception, what I mean by subjective perception is the whole, like, look up the term critical thinking. What critical thinking means is forming our subjective perceptions off what aligns most with objectivity. And that's generally my goal when it comes to reviewing media, is trying to put my personal feelings aside as much as possible. Like, when I look at art, here's what my goal is, alongside the fact how much I enjoy it, of course, but it's to go by trying to interpret what the whole goal the artist is trying to pursue in this case. And for example, when it comes to this world, even if it does seem realistic, like the whole thing in the world, there's nothing in the world that's established that a hit that, like, for example, in terms of, back on the whole thing with Noriko, when there's nothing in the lore that established a hit like that will kill a person in that world. Now, if she would hit against the wall, completely understand, but that's not the case. And in terms of special effects, it's about them doing what they can with what they're given. And that's the whole thing, is looking from the artist's perspective on how much, on seeing how far they could go with it.
Hate to break it to you, animation is not tied to budget. That's mostly direction, aside from time, of course. But it's mostly a direction thing.
Well, it's mostly skill. Mostly, I do agree. But
so you don't think the professionals are skilled enough to do basics such as momentum?
Well, I do agree that skill is the main thing, but budget still has some part in it.
How would that affect the animation?
But what do you mean by animation? Are you talking about his stiff movements? Because
his movements. Because
I thought
how it brings him to life.
Well, the thing about his movements is I'm pretty sure that was intentional. Like, same with Shin Godzilla. The whole thing was kind of bringing back that aesthetic from the
Shin
first
still obeyed momentum in the fact of when he stomped, like, for this is just one example. Well, not always. Shin's VFX are all over the place, so I can't say they're extremely consistent. They're very hit or miss.
They're hit and miss.
When he stomps, there's actual, like, a flow to it. Like, his toes will press into the ground, and then he'll shift his body weight forward and then push up, and you'll have that proper walk cycle. -1 doesn't have that. And whether that's intentional or not, that harms the internal consistency.
I would say, like, well, wait, before me stepping in, like the proud father I am, by internal consistency, internal consistency of the world itself, or internal consistency of the effects on their own.
What's them?
I'd say they're tied together.
Well, because, like, I would say in the case of
because if you're saying the fact that it's consistent then shows that was the intention, I'd say that's still a flaw, because by that logic you could then defend King of the Monsters or GVK, because they have the consistent animation directions, but they're just flawed within themselves.
Well, then I would say in that case too, because we do know Shin was using mocap, and with mocap you do have better reference for how the distribution of weight would work. And if we're gonna say
actually
that
no, not for
no, okay.
Well, the thing is, on terms of how good.
Oh, wait, Joey. Before you go, I want to hear what Brayden's take on that is.
It's reference more for, like, personality, but in terms of the weight, a lot of that is implied. That's something Del Toro actually brought up on why he didn't use mocap for Pacific Rim, was because it wouldn't have communicated the weight at all, and he'd rather just do it all, like, just start with other reference and keyframe instead of having the mocap reference. I mean, at the end of the day, mocap doesn't automatically determine the end quality. It's all up to how you
I'm not
use
saying
the
it
tool,
determines the end quality, but I'm saying that it provides better
in
reference in that case.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
but
like,
that's a fair point.
But like I
said, I do have. There's someone else in the back. And I do want to keep this going. I will actually. Real quick, do y'all want to continue this debate like another time?
I just want to say one more thing.
before, like, do you all want to do like a full length video on this topic in the future? Because I will plan for this since finals and stuff are ending.
This is a very interesting discussion.
Maybe, but I would like to say this here first before.
But no, just like yeah or nah.
Yeah.
For both. Yeah.
And Jaden, if you're up for it, would you want to come along? Because Jaden's an actual like hobbyist animator, and so has more of like understanding of specific things.
If I'm available.
I might able to join, but there's a good chance that I will be busy. Like, for example,
we'll plan around it. I just want to know if like this is something I would want to dedicate a full video to, only because of the fact that it is literally 1 a.m. for me, and I just want to get through the article because I am probably going to be doing a ton of videos.
Okay, I'll say maybe, but
even if you're not on, I will want the other two on just to talk about it.
Okay, but can I say my last word?
Y'all get your last points. So Joey, you go, and Brady, you. I hate like moderating too much like this, but I don't want GP to be sitting there in the back and then before he gives his points.
Like, in terms of -1's weight, I've only seen it once, so my critical analysis isn't as deep as like something like GMK or the 54 film Shin Godzilla, whatever, where I paid close attention, deep dived in. But when it comes to Godzilla's weight on first viewing in a theater, my thought of it is I didn't notice any moments that seemed janky. Like, for example, when he would lift his foot up, there would be a lot of it would be slow, like he was lifting up his own body weight. And when he would step on the ground, it would go up with it. Like, for example, the ground would break up along with it. Or when Godzilla shot his atomic breath, a lot of people thought that was too fast. The way I interpret that, it was the same way I interpret the atomic breath in Shin Godzilla, because the whole thing, if you notice on those scenes when he's firing the atomic breath, there's more weight towards that atomic breath animation than Godzilla himself. Why is that the case? Because the atomic breath is so powerful, it's pulling Godzilla alongside with it, rather than Godzilla having full control of shooting it out.
What you're referring to is a
wait before you go, Brady, because I know you'll have thoughts. Joey, is that going to be your final thoughts on that?
I'd say so.
Okay, Brady, final thoughts. Final conclusion. Let's hear it.
The final conclusion. I feel that you hold a misinterpretation of my criticism in the fact that speed, and just a lot of people seem to hold this thought process. Speed does not automatically equate to weight.
I agree with that, because like I said,
it's a lot.
Wait, let Brayden finish.
I mean, of course, this is a far in-depth conversation, but just I guess I'll just end off with like perfect example. The problem with the atomic breath is not that he shoots down quickly; it's that he cancels all of his momentum once he goes down at that speed, and with how heavy he is, there would be a lot more slowdown. And that's kind of what my overall point is the lack of anticipation, follow through, ease out, all that. And that's
so I'm going to have to say we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, basically. Because like I
said,
my interpretation on that is like I said, the weight was being put on the atomic breath, and it was kind of carrying Godzilla with it. But I understand where you're
not how it works. That's just not.
We'll have to carry it for another time. I really don't want to.
It's okay, Poppy.
This is one of those cases where I'm like, this is a conversation, and I don't want to like stop it mid kind of energy. Like I know I'd stop just to
just like his momentum,
Brayden. Yeah. But we'll carry this on another time, and this comes because I am on the free StreamYard. I'm gonna have to deport someone. So which one of you beaners wants to get deported?
Well, don't worry, I'm an American, so I'm staying here.
You get privileges. Yeah, you also came later, so you also get privileges. So, actually, Lupe, do you want to stay on? Because I can remove you, bring on GP, and then bring you back on if you want to keep staying on.
Yeah, I'll leave. I'll stay. I'll stay back.
I'll put you in the back studio. I'll keep you in the.
Wait, before you kick me, before you put me back to studio, Eric Zilla, get on Fortnite.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Eric Zilla.
Wait, what?
Let's play Fortnite together, bro.
Bro, I was just kidding, bro. I wasn't.
I've been on Fortnite like since the whole StreamYard started, bro.
I thought you were joking. I was never
joking. Yeah, you were joking, but I was on before you even said that question. So like,
oh well, I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm intrigued with this conversation personally, man.
But the conversation's already over.
No, but like they're gonna watch something, man, and I want to watch it too, bro. There's gonna be
you're a worst friend ever.
Oh man.
But the last thing I'll say is the
you don't get a last thing because we're gonna leave this for another stream just because I find it so
Pyramid
interesting.
Head's big sword.
Well,
in terms of lifting it up.
Bring in a point for later.
Atomic breath is my piss.
But
man, if only I had a cup of coffee.
Favorite friend
I
ever.
have to deport you. Say something in broken Latin one last time, like a estoy or a como está before I kick you.
What does that supposed to mean?
It means that Spanish is a corruption of Latin. So say something in Spanish for me.
Cállate.
You know what? That was actually a pretty good way to go.
I'll give you that. Thank you.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
I love the fact that.
Oh my god.
And we'll bring on GP. What's going on?
Hey, so you said we're talking about Godzilla -1, are we?
Yeah, we are. We're gonna bring you on. I just want to hear your thoughts because have you seen it yet or no?
I've seen. I know this is kind of like a cheat way of doing it, but yeah, I've seen clippets here and there from YouTube, and seen the trailers, and seen clippets here and there, and even seen reviews on it, and I like it from what I hear. And seen, but there's a couple of things I did have a bit of criticism about. They never explained with Godzilla, like you know how like in the morning you step on a Lego and that hurts your foot. And I was thinking, how do they explain how Godzilla can just walk across all that stuff without getting it stuck in his feet, or him getting sore feet from walking on all that crap of all the city and this damage? That's one thing I've always wondered. Like does he have like a special pad on his foot? Like how come he's like going ouch every 24/7 when he walks across? I said something and like car gets stuck in his foot like a Lego brick. I know.
I just try to lick it off to help him.
To be fair, missiles and stuff like that don't phase them, so I don't think rubble from a building will really do anything.
And another thought too was, like I said, the spines. Now, of course, we were talking about the whole big and then big of the radiation atomic breath concept. Was like almost like they said. Someone actually said in one of the reviews that when he's firing up, all the plates start to like jut upwards. Every time they start jut upwards, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they fly, they go straight back down, and then it goes to boom. But I was thinking that would bloody hurt though. It's like all the spines just like it's almost like cracking your spine, popping all the spines out, and then pulling it back in, and just go boof. And I'm like, how?
I suppose.
Brayden, I did kind of like pop your spine out of place that one time. I
always equated it to like he was just getting hard and then just went soft.
You guys suck.
That was a bit like a boof. But from what I've seen though, with the Godzilla -1, it feels also like a reboot of the original classic movie which we had of King of the Monsters. Very much that dark, mystical mystique back in the World War II, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's right there, World War II.
Yeah. But
actually, real quick for you, GP. Does it have a release date in Australia or no?
Oh, good question. That is a good question. Most Godzilla movies from overseas, as soon as they come out, they pretty much go straight to DVD. They don't really.
So, like, unlike the UK, Australia didn't get a like release date as to when it was coming out.
Y'all's long distance relationship is cute.
Okay, here we go. December 1st of December 2023.
Okay. December 1st. Oh wait, so then it's already out for you. So you just let's go make some time to go see it, my man, because you saw it like it's coming out at the same time as you.
hits the movie. Hopefully, if it hits the movie cinema, I'm hoping it will, because if it does, I'll be into it.
I'm surprised that it came it came out the same time for like the US release, because for some reason I think the UK release is like on the 15th. I would have assumed it would have matched what the UK release was.
Yeah, well, I said the 1st of December 2023 was the Australia release for it. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But I said,
Any other quick thoughts you want to give, my man?
Yeah, one of the things as well. Was there any? Do we know if there was any like puppetry or stop motion, suit stuff?
There
Yeah,
was a practical prop in the water fight.
Shots.
Yeah, there's two.
Like
when
Shin,
he
the
gets
vast
the bomb in his
majority,
mouth and you see it rolling around.
Like Shin, the vast majority is CGI. And here's the thing why I say the effects in both Shin and -1 are so good. Because a lot of people, and I mean a lot, like I just explained to my uncle on Thanksgiving, Shin was not a suit, and he was surprised. And same goes for a lot of people with -1, because the thing is, in many ways, it does look like a suit. And that's why a lot of people who don't know any better still think it is. Like Zio Agito, he still thinks, like he was talking about when he saw the trailer of -1, he was saying how Shin used a mix of CGI and suits. Shin did not. They abandoned the practical effects they were using in that movie because, according to Ano, I think it was Ano, they didn't look as good outside of the miniatures. And -1, again, replicates a suit enough where it looks very real. And I think a testament on how good the effects are is if you ask someone who doesn't know any better, a lot of people will tell you it's a suit, and I know that from experience. God damn it.
Someone who doesn't know any better will not give you a good answer.
Exactly. By that logic, can't you ask someone like about The Last Jedi and be like, "Hey, what'd you think of the movie?" And let's say like a lot of people, or what's a better one that a lot of people, a movie a lot of like general audiences thought was great, but is actually garbage. Last Jedi is the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah.
Well, no. That's completely different, because here's the
How?
thing. Well, it's not a matter of how good something looks, but if you ask the general audience, what technique did they use? A lot of them say a suit. And the thing is, it's not.
That's not a definite positive, because a lot of suits don't look very effective. If we're to compare a lot of high level CG versus high level suits for kaiju, the CG blows it out of the water, because unfortunately there's a lot of stuff with CG that you can only achieve with CG for scale that you can't with a suit.
Actually,
you can't.
I would say like a good case would it's not a suit, but it's an animatronic, like the T-Rex animatronic versus the Giganotosaurus animatronic from Jurassic World versus Jurassic Park.
Well,
I'm only using that as an example because it's the same franchise, and we
Yeah.
do see a Giga animatronic as well.
The thing I'm getting at there
But
is,
real quick before you go in, GP, any other quick thoughts? Because there's someone else in the back rooms as well.
I know, I'll be leaving. So the final thoughts, I said that was the one thing I thought was really amazing, was that the water scene, from what I saw, where they have Godzilla chasing the boat, and like I said, it looked very much like the puppet, like it was like the guy in a suit thing being towed behind the ship. The way I was saying, it was like a actual suit when they're being in the water, and I thought that was rather interesting. Yeah, that scene. I was like, ooh, that's interesting.
well,
real quick.
Final subject. The final call is because you guys have all seen the movie, yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I'll still watch it.
Okay, well, spoiler alert for the person who hasn't. The concept of Godzilla getting his head blown off. I was like, really? But then again, that's no different from what was it, GMK, where that similar happened as well, where they exploded him from the inside out. So like a similar thing. But I'm like, yeah. But then again, how else are you going to kill off one of the main protagonists if there's no actual real way to kill him? He's an unstoppable force. So I suppose there has to be a way of doing it. But mind you, though, I really preferred the Shin Godzilla way of doing it. Of getting it to like a liquid nitrogen bomb, or dropping liquid nitrogen in the gut and freezing him, and then dropping in the North Pole somewhere. That would make a lot more sense to me. But blowing his head off, well, okay. Seems it feels like more of an American thing to do more than a Japanese thing, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
All right, so I'll jump down now. But thank you for having me up. And
thanks for having me on, GP. I'm happy to have I think this is the most amount of guests I've had. This is literally just the unfortunate fact where I just don't have enough people on because I'm using StreamYard for free because
Yeah,
I'm a
same.
peasant. But I just dropped
I love you for
for
it.
the coffee. If if people want to support me on the coffee, you're free to do so. Literally any of the proceeds that go through the coffee or the PayPal are just put back into the stream. Because I think like anything done through that just helps me keep more people on because I think like mine is the most you can put on StreamYard if I'm paying for it. And just with like bills and this economy, thanks Biden. I like will be able to do this more often, but also just like be able to pay for the resources of it. But thank you for being on, JP. And you have a good night one. Good one, my man. Text me when you've seen the movie because I'll definitely do more streams like this with more people.
Sweet. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to see the movie and have a look at it. And so, same with the other two things we've got coming up. What was it? We had that, and we have also the Monarch TV series coming up.
Yeah,
and also,
Legacy of Slop.
And then the Godzilla versus Kong again, the new Godzilla versus Kong movie.
The fan fiction edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. And also, there's also those Godzilla shorts that I saw come out, the Godzilla short movies. They were like 3 or 4 different ones. I thought they were trailers for other Toho movies, but they turned out it's only just short films. So
yeah, it's the Megalon and the Jet Jaguar one.
Yeah, and what was it? There was also what was it? Gigan as well.
The Gigan one was from a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was last year.
All those little short films. And I was like, dang, that was pretty cool. I was hoping to see a full-on film, not a short film, but you gotta get the Godzilla content when you can, you know.
Yeah, you'll never know. But thank you for being on, my man. You have a good one.
All right, have a good one, guys. Later.
You too.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Like as I was saying on the
wait, before you go on more,
forget my point, bro.
I'm gonna bring on the Vic. And you don't have a profile picture on. What is this?
Oh no, I forgot.
How could you? You fiend.
Okay,
I'm gonna let you two have a rumble in the jungle for a little bit more because the alcohol is hitting me again, and I am gonna go piss. So again, Eric, you are the Tard Wrangler. So Tard Wrangle for me, okay?
All right, man.
In terms of some suits not being very effective, I completely agree with that. But it's all a matter of accomplishing your goal with what you're going for. Like, for example, in case of -1 and Shin, the whole goal was to make it look like a suit rather than a CGI model. And the thing is, they accomplished that. And that's one of the things that's why I feel it works, because the thing is, it's textured enough where it matches a suit, it moves like a suit, everything matches the goal of what the artist was going for.
That's called good direction.
Exactly.
If
half of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Because for shit, they achieve it about.
When you get to the final train battle, it's over, bro.
Oh yeah, it just goes downhill.
I was thinking that about both Shin and in -1's case.
And that he doesn't even move like a suit during the Shin final battle.
He moves like a
whatever. I don't know.
Well, I will say in terms of Shin's case, there's moments, like for example, after he fires the atomic breath and he does that walk before stopping. Yeah, that was one of the moments it showed.
That was one of the jankies.
Yeah. But for the most part, Shin accomplished that. And -1, when I rewatch, I'm sure there's moments I'll notice of jankiness here and there too.
Oh, pretty much every moment he's on screen. Like I could break down every shot. Like every shot has some issue. Yeah, I plan to. We're doing that together, buddy.
Yay!
Every shot has some issue, some jank to it, and it does not
very
move like
interesting background noise.
Because if it was a suit, it would obey basic laws of momentum. Like that, it's not even achieving that goal that you've set for it. And
one thing I want to say is I just got back from it and I watched it with a friend who does monster suits, and he said that during the movie he never felt that Godzilla was CG and felt that was a man in a suit.
So let me go off of that. Actually, say it did achieve that where it looks like
your friend is a friend.
Yep.
A friend is a friend.
I was trying to find a good word to explain my point, but I just didn't have one.
I get that reference, Eric.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah, you
any
got it.
hippity
You got it.
hoppity nonsense in here from any of you, I will fuck you
But
like a
yeah,
pig,
like
I
on
swear
moments
to
where
God.
it's not obeying, mainly I can think of going to the atomic breath. But like I said, the atomic breath is like Pyramid Head. I interpret it at least is like Pyramid Head lifting up his sword in Silent Hill. Like it's so heavy where Godzilla has some control, but it ends up pushing him with it when he fires
You
it.
once again misinterpreted the entire criticism. You're talking about the downward movement. I'm talking about the lack of sorry, what's it called, Jaden? Ease out. The lack of ease out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
ease in, ease out. My
Yeah.
favorite.
That's
okay.
the issue. Not the actual, not the, why am I forgetting these terms? I literally said them a little while ago. Not the anticipation.
I
But
guess I don't think I agree with you,
But
but
since
like,
I am back, I am gonna drop you down to your final thoughts again because I'm daddy and I say what I want. So
yes, Bob.
final thoughts.
But what the point I was trying to make is, say we do go by the logic of, oh, it has achieved the look of a suit. Just because it achieved that specific goal does not mean the goal is proper within the context of the product.
But the context of the product is what
go
the
back
artist.
to the Flash.
Hey, Joey,
The
let
context of
Brandon
the
finish his
product is
point.
what the artist intends it to be, and like for example, what a flaw would be is like if there's any plot holes or something that contradicts something that established within the universe of it. Like
Doherty,
Yamazaki could follow.
Joe. I want to hear
Doherty
Brandon's final point.
and Wingard wanted King of the Monsters and GVK to look the way they did. That was their direction.
Yeah, they did.
They
a good job.
achieved what they were. No, they didn't. They did not, because it is inconsistent within the universe.
How's it inconsistent within the universe?
Wait, because again, we're waiting for another video for this.
Once again, the lack of momentum and all that. My point is, just because the author, what if the author is like, oh, I want it to be garbage, I want it to be inconsistent with everything. Like, I'm going to go back to the Flash. They can claim that's what it was, but we can call BS because it's not consistent. You can't go just because they achieved what they were going for is thereby a plus. What if what they're going for is just absolute garbage? Like, there's always that possibility.
Wait, okay.
Like the Flash.
Okay, so we got that for
well, the thing is,
Brandon.
in terms
Joey,
in terms of the
Flash,
Flash,
Joey, final thoughts. Because I do want to get the article done tonight.
Okay, we'll just have to agree to disagree here.
Okay.
Or else we'd be here all night.
No, like I wish we were here all night. It's just I will probably fall asleep on the stream.
I love spending nights with you, buddy.
And I do have work.
You know, you sound like a YouTuber named Dumpy. Your jokes are similar too.
What's it called?
Oh, he's gay like me.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, that's something fucking Dumpy would say.
So we already talked about the fact that this the fuckhead who's in this article is talking about war guilt and racism because he's some pasty face white fuck who cares too much about fascism. So we'll go here. Yeah, the effects are terrific. Even if the assault of ravaged post-war Tokyo looks a lot less firebomb than it should, even in the marauding monster marauds less on land than on sea. That's such a fucking stupid sentence. Despite ample evidence of Godzilla's dislike of trains, the sea battles are borderline awe-inspiring. We already talked about that, but that's neither here nor there. But change in emphasis and subtext aside, Yamazaki's film launches into same old Godzilla, same old response to her/him silliness with old grievances barely sublimated, silly science, and old themes such as self-sacrifice watered down for modern consumption. There's no comparison given there, but outside of the her before him postmodernism, yeah, that really says something.
What the poop does he mean by postmodernism? Like, I feel
what
like
does
that
he mean
word
by anything he's saying right
yeah,
here,
that
bro?
word's thrown around so much to where it's
well, no,
like,
I said postmodernism. He said for modern consumption.
Oh, okay.
Postmodernism in the sense of just like looking at everything through like a modernist lens. Not nihilism. Nihilism and postmodernism are two different things, but
I hear a lot of people use that improperly in the sense of like,
yeah, people do
the
use it
nihilistic,
improperly,
yeah.
unfortunately. In the last days of the war, a kamikaze pilot abandons his mission on the pretext of equipment failure. Koichi Shikishima lands on an island where he and the locals face a new threat. A monster who shows up. Koichi has a chance to fight, and again, he shows cowardice. Koichi returns to Japan and forms an informal family with Noriko and little girl, but American nuclear testing in the Pacific has awakened the beast, the folks on far-off Odo Island called Godzilla. Koichi and the ex-Navy crew he serves with on a wooden trawler used to clean up Japan's seaborne minefields, and a plucky scientist, I wouldn't say note as plucky, but okay, will be amongst those called on in a demilitarizing Japan to save Tokyo and the country from this new threat. The Americans, they're taking the lumps further off in the Pacific, but they're worried about stirring up the Soviets, who had nothing resembling a real navy and didn't yet have the bomb. So for context, we had no clue, like the Americans had no clue as to what the Soviets' capability was, and they postured themselves in a sense where they could be a rival to America. So it's really funny that you talk about the Soviets being a paper tiger when that comes with a lot of hindsight. Again, going back up here, it comes with a lot of hindsight. You dopey bug-eyed fuck.
That is something to praise the movie for. Is like it's reasonable. They establish why America's not helping. Like it's all pretty.
Based on the information we know, it is established as to why, like, the Soviet threat was indeed overblown, but for what America and what the public knew at the time, it's reasonable. So again, you dopey bug-eyed fuck.
Yeah,
Shut
you
the fuck up.
bug-eyed F word.
So Japan will have to use its cultural cohesion and communal know-how and bravery to save itself. For long stretches, Godzilla -1 concentrates on relationships and conversation, which, despite their intent, do little to advance the plot or illuminate simple drawn characters. You want to give an example? Again, you dopey, bug-eyed, receding hairline.
F-word. Hairline, F-word.
The acting is affecting not helping by an unemotional scripts. Again, want to give an example? Whatever human stories are attempting here, they're never more than distractions in what still is just a Godzilla movie.
Did we watch the same movie?
The coward must redeem himself. The scientist must use his out of my lane expertise to save the country. What is he saying that's out of line? Again, I love it when reviewers will say like, "Oh, this, that," but they never elaborate on it.
Gotta love short form reviews, don't you?
This thing is like, it's so annoying.
The dude doesn't even delve into his points. Like, I get he's trying to be spoiler free, but there's a way of explaining yourself while not spoiling the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
sort of there's some things there's criticisms you could make that don't spoil it. It's just the fact that he wants to make the point that fascism bad, Japan did war crimes, and they do not do the guilt things about it because, I also want to be anti-American, but I also want to be anti-Japan because fascism. It's
whenever
so stupid.
Godzilla
it's so
was
tired.
on screen, I wanted to commit war crimes towards him.
I want to commit war crimes.
True. He's stiff. He's ugly. He's not ugly. He's cute.
He looks like a puppy.
Cute.
He's so
like
cute
a little
sometimes.
puppy.
Yeah. He's like
in the water.
Huh? Huh? No, I'm talking about Godzilla.
No, Zims is not that big. What the fuck? How
have you seen it? Have you been sneaking in my bedroom?
Whoa. Have you been cheating on me? Nate.
I have not been. He's been.
Isn't he your ex-wife? Technically, you said your ex-husband or something.
Ex-wife.
What does it matter if he goes looking for other schlong or something?
Hey, I did not give Joey the permission. But continuing on. Assorted Navy veterans must move on from years of hubris followed by humbling defeats to rally against a new foe. Like, there is I love it when people try to criticize something and they boil it down to, the most simplest way possible to make it sound irrelevant.
Oh, I love
and be like, what'd you say?
I said, I love oversimplification. It reminds me of this one tweet where someone was claiming that like every kaiju movie, no matter the tone, was inherently silly. And someone asked them why, and they're like, it's a giant monster attacking. And I'm like, oh, I love this thing.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I asked him the same thing, and he said literally the same thing. And then when I I put him in a corner. He was like, "Oh, it's not that serious, boo," and like tried to like humor his way out of it. People like that make me sick. But
I feel
moving on. Self sacrifice will be called for. We get it. It's all a tad self satisfying as this and new take lowers the stakes in many ways, ones that rob the picture of much of its potential pathos. I like what Yamadaki was trying to do, but his timidity in themes he might introduce to the film's native Japanese audience shows, and it muzzles his monster movie. The country's mired in a spiral that generations have found no answers and show no will to correct. Comment on that. And that matters a whole lot more than the direction, script, and effects by credit he collects on this production. The question any new Godzilla movie has to answer after 70 years of the film is why. I think he had an answer and lost his nerve. Literally, these last few paragraphs just go mask off on what he wants, and it's that the film wasn't talking about what I wanted to talk about, therefore it's bad, and I'm going to reduce all the characters down to cliches.
Exactly.
Again, you literally have no purpose. You serve zero purpose. Your life is nothing. I should complete the last part of this low tier god quote now.
I think it's funny how he's completely disingenuous and like overly critical, and he still gave it a higher score than I did.
Well, I know you gave it a
4. You gave it a 4. 4 out of 10.
He technically gave it a 50%.
Oh yeah.
But like, the thing
that's ironically funny.
Like the thing with this fucking imbecile here is, like, I hate these pretentious reviewers.
Honestly, imbecile is being a little too light with it.
Well, I don't have any coffee right now. I don't have any coffee right now. Your mom's milk doesn't have caffeine I need. But
I'm sorry that my mom doesn't, and that my mom pegs you on the daily. So take her fake dick out of your mouth and keep talking.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of that whole thing, is he doesn't know how to review movies. He's judging off concept alone, and in that case, don't watch it. Watch fucking something else. You're not going by how it's executed. You're just saying that this isn't what I wanted it to be, which is the worst, least objective way to look at art possible.
Though, like, I will say this. The Adam Does Movies review had, like, the other guy who gave it a bad review has a same lack of substance. But in this case, it's like his review isn't as mask off and just clearly partisan as to what he wants the film to be about, and didn't get as angry that wasn't the case. Where at least in Adam's review, it's just oh, I didn't like this movie because of these things. I wanted something else, which was mostly like what he wanted was entertainment. And in that case, that's just more admirable. But in this case, it's like literally like, oh, I want this film to be the political message I want it to be. It was not there for a bad movie, but still gave it a higher rating than Braden, who at least likes the franchise, but is just critical because he wants a better product.
I don't like the franchise.
You say that every time I pound you.
No, I genuinely don't like the franchise. I hate most of the movies.
As in, you like want the character to be better.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
He's also really hot, so like
there you go.
I can't resist.
I'm not gay. I like men. That's what you said. And
True.
But yeah, like, anyone got any other thoughts on that?
I just got back to my desk.
You got back to your desk.
Those are your thoughts.
Those are your thoughts. Were you taking?
I wasn't even listening. I wasn't even here. I'm lost.
So like, wait, I picked up. This is what happens when I pick up your guest, because I pick up like literally lost children. In this case,
I had to watch my sibling.
Like the ones in your basement.
No, I'm not that.
Oh, he got you there.
At least I let them fight to the death so they could eat the scraps of the loser.
That's survival of the fittest. I like that. I like Darwinism.
Exactly. Gotta love that survival of the fittest eugenics policy I have.
I mean, it's more of like Darwinism, but then more of my people, the autists, start spreading. So it's like a.
It's like Predator. It's gonna be the future. Autists are like.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna stop the Predator invasion. Hey, Jaden, can you read Predator?
What? Yeah.
But
Let me throw it on the soundboard. I'll speak.
We're at 3 hours and it's almost 2 in the morning. And I
3:08:31.
Vic, since obviously you were the one who came in latest, I want to hear your thoughts on the movie, and we'll wrap this up.
I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I felt the story was very deep and emotional, and I was really impressed by that. I thought everything surrounding it was really well done. I really enjoyed seeing like the new ways the military fought Godzilla. I thought it was really creative and well done.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I just really enjoyed it.
Gotcha. Jaden, your thoughts? So obviously you're the second newest.
It was a movie. I think the characters were kind of cute.
Oh yeah, I wonder which one.
Hey! You don't apply to anyone else but me because you were always you were always Braden's second. So hey, don't be surprised that we're airing our dirty laundry here.
5 out of 100. I don't know.
You rated me higher last time. I want to hear a better number.
74.
There you go. I like that. Good boy.
Oh my god. Rated, this is the people you hang out with?
Joey.
These are the
your
people that dragged me into the basement.
My thoughts on
they
Godzilla
gave me
minus
that
one.
energy.
I'm gonna be seeing it again soon, but
I'm
I
not.
thought it was fucking amazing. I thought it loosely remade the original by following the beats in all the right ways, while also tweaking them and taking elements from GMK and other movies. The characters are all very well developed. Like Shikushima, his actor does an amazing job at this shift of these emotions that happens from start to middle to finish. And overall, I was impressed with the special effects. There was a lot of really good destruction. Like I said before, a lot of people, and myself included, still think it looks like a suit. And overall, I loved the soundtrack. It was terrifying. Godzilla chasing the boat was suspenseful as hell. And
Confusion, my favorite track.
It was suspenseful as hell, while also blending drama, sci-fi, action, and all the other genres that are necessary to make the movie as good as it was. I thought it was a masterpiece. Just a must-watch for those who haven't seen it.
I'm eating ice.
Eric, your thoughts, and then we will give Braden his thoughts.
Well, as a person that has not watched the movie but doesn't really care for spoilers, yeah, I'm very much interested, and I'll very much be keeping an eye on the way how Godzilla's movements are, because that whole thing was a very interesting little thing there. As an animator myself, also, or like a beginner animator, I want to really get a look at that for different reasons.
One is good note of what not to do.
Yes,
I will be honest too. I would if we had more clips, I would show them on there, but even the newest short I just did got copyright claimed. So like
Toho.
Yeah, it's not just Toho. It just seems like everything in general has been like trying to get copyright claims because it's
pretty soon, I think next year, I believe they're gonna fix that. Apparently, like the YouTube,
Wait, really?
the current YouTube like the person who's running YouTube, like apparently they're gonna be giving you like freedom, essentially, no copyright. Like
so, like they say that, but like I'm afraid as to what that actually will entail. So
yeah,
I don't I
don't know. They say something about like the copyrighted music and stuff like that. So it's like
if YouTube can actually fix their copyright, maybe Nate and I can fix our marriage.
Perhaps.
No, not a chance.
Overall, yeah, I'll very much be looking forward to the film. Honestly, it's gonna be a blast the whole time. I'm just gonna dip right now because my phone's about to die. So
okay, your phone's about to die, so I'll deport you now.
Before Eric goes, I just want to say, I was about
you
to
get
say
nothing.
I was about to compliment his Blazer profile pic because Ultraman Blazer is fucking awesome.
Lupin, you've been here patiently as well, so you get to give your thoughts as well.
-1, I give you like a
And just
8 out of
things
10.
There you go.
What? Huh? Oh,
So
I give like the movie like an 8 out of 10, in my opinion.
It's respectable. Like I still really like the movie. I mean, I
very
still want to
new
see it a
and
few
I'm
more
not,
times so
not
I can
as
have more
experienced as
notes.
writing, so I don't know
Mm.
how wrong my statement is, because like was it your ex was talking about.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I
Hey, we could still fix this. We could still fix the marriage.
We will never
Won't be
fix
the
this.
extra-
There, like literally, your replacement is in the chat.
Get a divorce.
Listening. We already got the divorce. My ex is literally like.
Get
my
it a
ex-
chance.
freaking wall.
Restraining
Brady's
order.
replacement is in the chat listening to me right now, and she loves everything about me.
It's a woman?
Oh yeah.
What about me?
Whoa.
Wait,
Whoa.
Joey, did you transition?
Oh, fuck off.
Hey.
What the whiz?
W actual booty cheek.
I thought you liked the. I thought. Okay.
I liked it because it was small, and I got to make fun of it. Okay.
Whoa.
Well, I did
But-
enjoy the degradation.
Exactly. But thank you all for the 3 people still here for the 3-hour stream. I'm actually surprised.
Oh, do I not get a little summary?
Oh, I thought you gave your summary. Wait, never
No.
mind. I ignored you all the time, so that's why.
Ignore
Go.
him some more. Just end it. He doesn't.
Brady, let's hear your
Yeah,
thoughts.
just end it.
No, I want to hear your thoughts.
Who the poop?
Alright, Jerry.
You know, this is why I divorced you.
No, I divorced you.
Who
I just
is
think you
scooping
divorced
ice?
me.
It's me. I told you this like 30 minutes ago.
I'm
chewing
gonna
on ice.
strangle you.
Not me.
Okay.
You don't strangle anyone without my permission.
Oh
I want to watch.
my god.
You
Whoa.
want to watch because you're a
Anyways,
cuck.
That's my homie right there. Don't.
I want to
don't-
watch because then he strangles someone else, and then I get to strangle Brayden in response.
I'd rather not continue
And
this.
before you get to
Anyways,
strangle Brandon, you get to sit in the corner with popcorn in one hand and your dick in the other.
Let's watch 2014.
Now let's watch
That was
2014.
funny.
Let's shut up and watch 2014.
Daddy's home, cake every night.
every night. Oh my
Brayden,
god.
let's hear
I
that
need
thought.
man.
So pacing was actually pretty nice. The editing was pretty nice. Cinematography was pretty gorgeous. The VFX were hot dookie and reminded me of Nate's and I's marriage. I physically cringed every time Godzilla was on screen. It was very painful. It was like having a colonoscopy. And then the sound was also kind of dookie, at least the sound design. Sound mixing was pretty hot. Reminded me of the good times of Nate and I's marriage, which was about an hour. And the color was
connect to your guys.
Oh, you love the color on it. Let's hear the color.
It's actually really the grade is gorgeous. Like it's very filmic. I love filmic looks. It captures the period very well. You know, cool shadows.
Yeah, I did kind of like
all that. Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
there we go.
The writing though, I'm very split on it. I feel like the characters are pretty strong, but the plot is hot dookie. I feel like the ending undercuts the emotion, or I guess I shouldn't say emotion because that's technically kind of subjective. The journey of the character. So 4 out of 10. I don't know about subjective. I don't know. I'll watch it again because it's going on the chopping block. So
I won't.
I'll force you. You know what? Just for that, we're recording a watch along.
Oh my god! Why do you have friends like this?
Is this what rape sounds like?
What?
And that's what gets my stream taken down. Thank you.
Yeah, let's
three
end this
people who are
now.
still
It's very
there.
uncomfortable.
You have a great
Hey,
one.
this stream is
It's
full of
amazing.
degenerates, myself included.
The degenerate
Guys, I wanna go back to
here
Mexico.
was amazing.
Honestly, why am I doing
y'all
this?
have a good
Why
night.
am I here? Why do I hang out with
For
you guys?
next one. Have a good night,
I don't even
guys.
like you guys that much. Why am I in this game? Fucking